Super. BS.
Yo, 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 what is up, my friends and my family, my mom as well. We got a very special show planned for you tonight. This is episode 48. So let's just do a quick round of applause for episodes 47 through 1. Just a real quick...
In that order?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think 48, I want to start a little differently today. I got a listener email that I'd like to read.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is from Best Wishes Donna 43.
Wow.
Great name.
I love this.
Very versatile.
Yeah, longtime listener, first time emailer. This is hard for me to say.
It's hard for you to read.
It's hard for me to read too. But my therapist is encouraging me to be bold, so here goes. Dave, the way you pick on everybody. Stop laughing.
You gotta know what that. You gotta know what she wants to say.
Especially and only Brank and JJ, using the law as a weapon is just plain unconstitutional unless you subscribe to some sort of jerk constitution.
Man,
I do.
She's getting
Which is true.
to the heart.
I
How do you know it's a she?
understand that you are a handsome perfectionist and demand much of not only your colleagues but your listeners as also. I find myself crying night after night, struggling to get my ears drained daily as I re-listen to every single episode of the show every day. I know what you're thinking, and I don't care.
Man.
Yeah, I can fit it into my day and still leave my stepdad's house to buy food.
Dave, you jerk. She just wanted to buy some food.
We don't know this is a woman.
Okay.
We still don't know.
As a, don't tell me you're one of those lawmen that still believes in time. As a professional time bender, I shouldn't have to be put at such a disadvantage just to listen to my favorite ever shows. I even keep my keys in a soundproof chamber that acquired from another time, all out of fear of you. I can feel the constant terror in Brank and JJ's voice. It's a roller coaster of emotions. I'd love to give you boys some healthy criticism as well, if only you had a chance to spread your wings and grow under tyranny.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope this encourages some consideration. Lastly, I just want to thank Donna again for saving my life time and time again.
Dang.
Thank you for that.
That must have been hard to write for both of you.
Thank you, Best Wishes, Donna 43.
It's crazy to think that there were 42 other people who had that name before them.
Yeah, I get emails from all 43 Best Wishes, Donna.
Dang.
They goes directly to me.
How do you maintain that? Is a lot of replies?
This is probably not well known, but as a doctor, as a primarily best doctor, all of the U.S.'s healthcare funds, Trump Care, Obamacare, it doesn't matter. It's funneled directly to my email accounts.
All the money goes to your email. I'm glad.
Directly to interface with my patients.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Thanks for sharing. I knew the healthcare system was screwed up, but now I am absolutely positive that it is.
Screwed up in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah, screwed up. JT. So we have a very special guest on the show with us tonight. His name is Hot Scott, and he's over here. Josh JJ had to be in the middle tonight, so we're really sorry.
It's true, I'm selfish, guys.
He wants to do like a Last Supper type thing. If you can
JJ,
sort of see it.
You own the middle. Don't let Dave make you feel bad with the law like
That's
he
Donna's
does.
43 lover talking. Anyways, welcome to Hot Scott. He really helped us on the show.
Welcome to Hot Scott. Hooray! Welcome to him.
It's a state of mind, everybody.
You are all welcome to him, all you listeners out there, okay? I will hypnotize you.
Well, anyways, Hot Scott is a longtime listener, a longer time best friend of the show.
He's actually the listener.
He's the one listener.
He's the one listener to rule them all.
I will be listening to this later.
He's not joking, guys. Anyways, we also, as you know, have a little Donna to my left here. Donna.
Welcome to me.
Welcome to Donna. We have a JJ.
Yabrams.
JJ Yabrams.
Never
right?
gets old.
I love it.
Got old a
funny
while
every
ago.
It was dead on arrival, I think. DOA is what we say in the biz.
First time we heard it, someone was like, "Don't do that," and
Please don't ever do that again.
That was like 25 episodes ago, right?
It was a long time ago.
JJ, this is your episode to shine. You're the middleman.
I'm in the middle.
You're the middleman.
All right.
We instead of saying cut out the middleman, we say include the middleman.
Include the
That's
middle.
Include, increase.
Yeah, include.
Spotlight the
What's
middle.
your innovate bit? Invest in.
invest, invent, improve.
There we go.
Innovate.
Two middlemen also.
Got the old initiation by having a beer spilled in my lap. So it's all.
No, don't believe him, listeners. He actually peed his pants. If you could see this, I'm gonna put
That
a
too.
real quick video
Can we
feed
get
on
a
his crotch.
panch cam?
I got
over
a
here?
crotch shot right now. If you're watching
What's
this
a
live,
Check out the crotch cam.
and
on
this is a
YouTube.
panch.
I wanted to combine pants and crotch.
Panch is a
Panch.
legal term that no one else knows, but
Yeah, I'm just
get ready to hear it a lot.
It's my elitist constitution flaring up.
A jerk constitution.
Oh, jerk. Thank you. And who do we have over there? Is that a Brank and Bank?
This is, and I got my tickets recently.
Your tickets.
To what?
For the hype train, my boys. I'm getting God of Whoa! Heck yeah!
Great.
Hype train joined. I'm there.
I don't have these on my show notes.
Doesn't
so-
matter. Hype train is boarded, my friends.
You can actually
Okay.
shorten show notes to shotes.
Shoats, shoats, my
Shoats or
broach.
shoes,
goats.
like other people have called them.
Do I also have the power to cross people's names out with my magical pen?
You don't.
Try it. Will he disappear if you do it?
Oh, that'd be.
This would be a Michael J.
sick.
Fox Back to the Future
Situation.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Well, cool. Let's just do a quick few housekeeping items, right? We want you guys to rate and review the show. Comment on the thread if you guys are watching us live. We love to interact with you.
We're also sitting so far away that we can't see. Or
Some of us
Well,
wear corrective lenses.
I also just had LASIK not too long ago, and although my vision's not perfect yet, I can read everything that's being written.
My vision's 100.
It says Dave Donna 43 lover is a total liar. Your jerk constitution is a good
founding part of our country.
Yeah, that's
Dave
what it says.
Donna 43 best wishes forever .biz.
Yeah, .biz. So let's talk about the games that we're playing. So why don't you kick it off for us, Dr. Donna?
Yeah. I've spent most of this week writing fan fiction, actually,
Nice. What?
for the show.
Dude, show fan
been-
fiction, a manga for the show.
Yeah, I've been pitching it on 4chan a lot. Seems like the most popular shippings are JJ Davebrams type situation.
Nice.
I like that.
What board are you on when you're posting this on 4chan?
I don't actually know what that means, so
Okay.
I don't write anything that's boring.
No. Oh, okay. Good one. That's good. That's good. I like it.
It's
I'll read this.
subtle. It's subtle but erotic.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so I'd say.
Like subtly erotic?
This is like
that what you're-
it sounds like
okay.
50 Shades of Grey.
When I'm looking
Yeah.
for my
50
Sonic
50
art, should I also find your
For a friend.
perfect?
50 Shades of
Dave?
Davebrams. But yeah, so games that I've been playing this week, for a whopping $10, I bought Mass Effect Andromeda, which we've
Too much.
talked so much shit on this show that I felt it necessarily to
I
buy
gotta
it.
go. I actually like the game.
Yeah,
See ya.
but
Hot Scott, don't ruin your hot name, okay?
I mean, we've read all the things, like all the inside about how EA pretty much like assigned the weakest team that's never made a full game to make their biggest franchise, and how they forced them to use Frostbite, which is an engine that's not meant for role-playing games. So it's definitely a lot on EA. It's definitely a lot on BioWare, which the studio did such a bad job that they got their studio closed, and now they're like absorbed in the other parts of EA. But it's got a strongish opening. I think that if they had made Mass Effect 4, it probably would have been a lot worse to. Since they already dropped the ball a little bit towards the end of the trilogy with some of the decisions they made with like.
What are you talking about, dude?
It was a perfect ending. I know
Yeah.
because I played it many times.
You actually play a ghost child throughout the game. You just never knew it.
It makes it's exactly. So it's been out for over a year, and it's still got a lot of bugs in it. I'm seeing some of the hilarious animation glitches where people's lips like fly out of their face.
Wait, you're still seeing that a year out?
Yeah.
Do they kiss you
nuts.
or what?
Well, because I think a lot of I think they dropped support because the studio was shuttered. So at this point, like, there's nothing else coming of it. And also, there's a glitch I've found where people just pop their shoulders up randomly, which is pretty funny. But so far, I'm like fairly interested in most of the cast, at least. So they still did a pretty decent job there. We'll see how the game shapes up as I get going. Combat feels a little more action oriented than the last couple, even though those were more and more action oriented as the series went on.
Right.
I've heard from people it gets boring, so I haven't reached that yet. It's still pretty fun for me. There's enough setup with. I like the concept of the Andromeda initiative, which is they send people out to the Andromeda galaxy to settle golden worlds, and when they get there, they're all ruined by some alien technology that has been there for several hundred years, but wasn't there because they've been traveling for 600 years.
Do you, real quick, sorry, I want to go back to combat. Do you think it's an improvement, though, to like Mass Effect 2 and 3, where it already moved?
I mean, the big deal is that there's like a jump button, basically. You have like jump jets. So
3 didn't have that, right? You just stuck to the corner and run like Gears of War style?
Do you think it feels faster? Like,
it doesn't feel faster to me.
Okay.
It does feel a little more like I want to say like it feels faster paced without actually literally feeling faster.
okay. It feels like there's a lot more like happening though in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas that are not fleshed out very well. Like the vehicle is pretty much a nightmare to drive from the very beginning.
The Mako, right?
It's not. It's called the Nomad. It is an homage to the Mako, but there's a lot of things because these are with Mass Effect 1 driving the Mako around. You're pretty much driving around these like very barren planets. Like it's like a very simple but kind of fun. Yeah.
Unless it's a campaign.
Yeah,
story
exactly.
missions,
Yeah.
But so with this, since all the planets, like the planets so far are pretty big, it's like there's a lot of things where you have to constantly shift gears because you can't go uphill unless you're in 6-wheel drive, which is just like a frustrating thing that they could have just easily left out.
Yeah.
It steers very bizarre, and you can't even touch water without getting reset. Like
So it just throws you back on land?
yeah, so it's like your screen goes black and it throws you back on land and stuff like that. So there's things like little decisions like that are definitely like, okay, this was definitely made by people that didn't think a lot of ideas through. But I'm still interested enough to see where it keeps going.
What do you think of what's the space station called? It's the
Nexus?
The Nexus. What do you think of the Nexus in comparison to the
Normandy?
Citadel?
The Citadel. Instead of the Normandy, they have a ship called the Tempest.
Oh,
the
okay.
Tempest seems pretty cool so far. I mean, the big difference is that this game it's almost more generic because they're going for a more open-ended thing as opposed to Mass Effect, which is about Shepard. And so all of your experiences are tailored around this Shepard character for all 3 games. And you do play like a specific character in this game, Ryder, but because the game is more focused on being like a semi-open world environment or open multiple worlds environment, there's just definitely a little bit less narrative like flair to it. The Nexus, to answer your question though, it seems all right so far. It's definitely not as like fascinating as like this random citadel that's kept by the keepers and stuff like that and all that kind of, because it's just a space station.
Right. It kind of feels like there's less in it.
There is definitely less in it because the idea though is that you're settling worlds as opposed to like, so you're kind of, again, like the concept of the game is kind of fun. And it's sort of exciting of like, okay, we're doing this, we're settling these planets. You get choice in how you develop, kind of where you like make an outpost and like, do you want this to be a military outpost or a science outpost and stuff like that. So far, pretty interested.
Real quick,
the
'cause
soundtrack is definitely so far the weakest.
Is it the same guy?
No.
Jack Wall?
It's not even the same guy as the last one, who is the film composer, which
Right.
it's
Clint
always.
Mansell?
Yeah, which as much as I like Clint Mansell, it's always a waste to have a film composer in games.
Hans Zimmer, I know we have opinions about Hans Zimmer. I thought his group did really well with Metal Gear Solid 2. But yes, I agree with what you mean. By most of the time, film composers aren't exactly the best video game composers.
Yeah, I mean that was also probably before Hans Zimmer was paid bazillions of dollars to do the same thing over and over again. So
Just watch his underlings do it for him.
yeah, but yeah, it's definitely like a weaker score. We've talked about this concept before, but I think the worst thing in games is when they try to imitate Hollywood with music and direction, because because games have a unique way of being able to tell a story in the same way that film has a unique way and books have a unique way. So trying to like beat Hollywood or like compete on that level is just, it's kind of like a non sequitur in some ways.
Yeah.
I know a few people have played this game, so I'm just curious if we could go around real quick and ask what like your favorite party members were in the game. So Hot Scott, who was your favorite party members, if anybody was memorable?
None.
No, none of the party members.
No, the game's not about them to me.
Okay, because that was what Mass Effect 1 was.
All of Mass Effect was like that. The old ones.
Let's be completely honest here.
Let's do it.
Every single one of the Mass Effects has gotten worse since the first.
I think the first is my favorite as well.
It's the best
first
game.
is also the best. Yeah,
It's in my top 5 games.
I love 2 though.
but
I
but
think
to
one is
me,
better.
2's good.
to me, saying the first is the best is also the same for me as saying Fellowship of the Ring is the best. Like it's definitely the best film out of all 3 of those. But the whole story it's like a whole story. So
Right.
it's like
That's true.
at the same time.
There's parts to all of them that are good.
Yeah.
But overall, if it was like, hey, you're on a deserted desert island, and you have one video game to play, definitely would be Mass Effect.
That first one,
The first one.
every
picked
character
2.
is so cool. Like where 2, I feel like 95% of them are cool, but you have like.
But also
I don't
to aid and talk about the point that you were saying about how they brought in a film composer on the second and third game. The first game is like this nobody who wrote. It changed me. I mean, as a musician,
this
it
soundtrack
changed
is
my
really good.
life.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what is this crazy like electronic arpeggios all the time?
Yeah,
and
first one is definitely the best soundtrack.
Dude, the Star Map song.
Oh yeah.
Come on, I
Dude.
could put that thing on for hours.
I think it's on my phone right now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a ringtone of mine for a long time.
I think get down like.
And they and with Mass Effect 2, they had the same core guy doing the soundtrack, and they brought in another guy to aid him.
It's Jack Wall.
Jack Wall. And then the third one is where they had the film composer who would be, if there was a film composer that I would pick to do something like that, it probably would have been Clint Mansell, The Fountain. These are good soundtracks.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, that have like
spacey science fiction.
good, simple, like.
I listen to him every morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
I swear, he's my ringtone.
Clint.
Yeah.
Really? Which song?
It's from The Fountain. I think it's like the Seventh Man or Third Man. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. I have that soundtrack on
Sweet.
a lot as well.
Talking about the third game, that ending sequence when it has the piano part is so insanely good.
In the third game.
It's
Oh yeah, the other theme.
Yeah,
that part is really rad.
dude. Like when you're walking through the forest with like holding that kid's hand yourself or your kid or I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what you.
They leave that pretty vague.
Yeah, I don't know what you are there, but I do love that theme.
Yeah.
I think JJ, were you going to talk about the characters that you liked real quick?
I was just curious if, but yeah. About the
No. Go ahead. Oh, you're gonna talk over me?
No, I was just saying, like, I asked Scott, but it sounds to me like the party members aren't important, but if there were some that you liked, I was curious.
We're just talking Andromeda.
Yeah, just Andromeda if there was any.
What was the Jael? What was the guy's name? The blue
Dorito head.
Jaw or something like that.
Yeah, I liked his story. I kind of liked the planets with his people on them. Like the jungle one was really interesting to me, and just kind of seeing like what happened to their people when. What are the bad guys? Sorry, it's been a while. What are the bad guys' names?
The Ket.
The Ket. You know, they had their war with the Ket, and kind of see like what happened to them, the fallout of all that, and they're like super distrusting, and then you don't really find out why until you encounter the Ket on their home world. So his story was interesting to me.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far. So far I like
JJ.
Vetra.
Sorry, spoiler, guys.
He didn't spoil anything.
I like Vetra, the female Garrus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like PB as well. She seems pretty interesting.
Garrus was the best part of 2 for me.
Garrus is
and
an
Rex.
amazing character.
I always picked Garrus.
Yeah, I in 1, like, I liked him, but in 2, like, that scene where you go save him, I'll never forget it.
Dude, Garrus and Rex were like my.
Yeah.
Anytime I could use both of them,
Right.
that was
Totally.
what
Did you
I went
guys?
with.
Sorry, I know it's off topic. On the first 3 games, did you guys pick who you would do the loyalty missions for, or did you just kind of?
I did
do all
everybody.
Of them?
I did everyone that you could do. Yeah.
Okay.
I played the trilogy 3 times.
Same. I didn't play 3 times. I played 1 and 2.
I've never beaten 3. I've beaten 1 like 3 times and 2 once, but I always
Have you
feel
at
bad
least
about it.
watched like a playthrough?
No,
of 3?
I should beat 3 at some point.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just-
the best part of 3 is the game leading up to the ending, not so much the actual ending.
Yeah,
Right.
3 is a great game though, and there are some
It's good.
amazing moments in the game.
it just doesn't hold up as well. Like I should play it, but I played it a year or 2 ago, and it just was like, oh man, okay.
Dude, there's this
All
one.
right.
There's this one Shepard Anderson scene where I definitely got dude boy tears during.
You mean
Yeah, those are
girly
great.
tears? Don't try to play it off
Yeah.
as dude boy tears.
Dude, it's an awesome game.
Yeah, and it's
They're all
great.
awesome. I would just say,
did
all of them are
Yeah.
considered.
did you ever end up reading any of the novels that are
No.
about Anderson? I read a couple of them. They're really fun.
When he's the first Spectre.
Yeah, and they're written by the guy that created Mass Effect that left during 2.
What's
the
the doctors?
No. The doctors were the heads of BioWare. Drew Kapershin, I think is his name. I don't really know how to say his last name.
Ascension.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
first novel. But he wrote the first Mass Effect game, and like he essentially like wrote the trilogy. Casey Hudson is the guy in charge of Mass Effect as the franchise now, and he was the head director. Drew left after the EA, like he didn't leave after EA, but he left in the middle supposedly of Mass Effect 2 because of EA, and also to focus more on writing novels, which specifically sucks for him because he's mostly known for writing Star Wars novels, which all of that has been canned by Disney.
Yeah.
All
For
of the
now,
extended
that still
universe
exists,
stuff.
That could come back though. Disney could see the value.
That's
in it.
why in Mass Effect 1 you have all these ideas thrown out about the Reapers and dark matter and all this kind of stuff. And then by Mass Effect 3 you have this really not really fitting metaphysical matrixy style story instead, because it's just handled by different people that just didn't
Care.
that's
Or
what
maybe-
happens like when
Come
someone
on, how insane was it when you played the first game and then you realized that that main Reaper was like sentient?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Or one he was like the front runner, the sentry guy
We've
for
been
like this
coming for
whole
millions
yeah.
and millions of years.
Dude,
I was
that I definitely got like chills when
Dude, I
when
remember
found that out.
I used to listen to that soundtrack like every night on the way home
Yeah.
from Disneyland when we would go to Disneyland all the time.
That's an awesome memory.
I still write music based on that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a super
Still.
inspirational game, and in more ways than one. And just like the interactions between the characters are so real and so powerful that it's definitely in a weird, stupid way has shaped my real relationships. I don't know if that's a little bit too far to say.
It is.
But it's definitely true.
Dave, you're not a Vanguard.
Oh, well, not yet. Actually, I always played Vanguard, and then I would always play my second Renegade game as an infiltrator.
I played Soldier every time.
I played Soldier too. I like Soldier.
I played my first round. It was
Yeah.
Did
Anyway,
you play JJ? Sorry, Donna.
I played Vanguard usually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dave said it was okay, but when
Dude, I
you-
love Vanguard. Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
I'm sure we'll come back to this when we talk more about music and what other people are playing and stuff. So we'll leave Mass Effect behind for now. The other game I've been playing is still The Alliance Alive, which is a 3DS role-playing game. I talked about it a little bit when I first got it. I've played it a little more now. Fantastic music, same composer as the last game.
Who is it? Yoko?
No, it's Hamautsu Masahi, I think.
Okay.
And he did like Final Fantasy 13 series of games.
Okay, that's
and he's
great.
done which are very flawed games but have fantastic soundtracks.
Battlefield's killer.
Yeah, those are some of like some really great music. And then he did Legend of Legacy. And this game as well. He definitely has a very unique style. That's very like, if I hear something that he did, it sounds exactly like him. But anyway, the game is introducing a lot of systems to it. It's got a world map, which is not as frequent in RPGs these days. It's got like alternate ways of traveling around a map. You get this like helicopter thing really early on that lets you fly in like short doses. They've got a guild system in the game so that there's these guild towers throughout the world that are all essentially reconnaissance for this whole like demon overlords and then like the human resistance. They run these guilds, and the guilds do different things, and if you're within range they help you in battle. So like the information guild, I think it's called the library guild, they will like basically tell you the weaknesses of an enemy. The Blacksmith Guild will fire a giant cannon and wipe everyone out. And you can recruit members for these guilds, etc. So far the game has a very, it's got a little more of a wonky feel but it also reminds me of a PlayStation era Final Fantasy with more of a bizarre Saga Frontier style battle system. I'm going to keep playing it. It's developing interestingly enough.
How many hours in have you?
I think I'm probably about, I have to actually look at my timer. I would guess like 7 or 8.
So still really early on.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not an insanely long game. I think it's like 30 hours is what people are saying. So,
is that like the norm for a game like that?
It's the norm for a certain like era or like style of Japanese role playing game. But 30 hours is like oftentimes like a bare bones thing. But usually the 3DS RPGs aren't as long as like the home console ones that can be like twice as long. Okay. But at the same time, any of these games you can choose to like grind like crazy, or you can try and go after. They always hide things that take hours and hours and hours to accomplish, like whether it's insanely hard boss fights that you have to spend, twice the amount of time getting strong for, or like secret weapons that have insane requirements for you to get. So there's always stuff like that in these type of games, but you can usually actually get through the game in much less time.
Sounds cool.
Sweet. You done, Donna?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Hot Scott, what are you playing, man?
I am playing Far Cry 5.
We've never talked about it. What is it?
We haven't.
Well, there's one aspect I'm sure you haven't talked about.
Let's hear it.
What is it?
It's the music.
Oh, we actually haven't talked about the music.
Music.
We talked about it a little bit, I think.
Oh, all right. Well, you guys might have like touched on it, but we haven't like really dealt. It's pretty good.
So
but we haven't dealt
Scott
into
might
it.
as well go home then.
I guess so.
Well, so look, I'm a very important and busy person.
Right, yeah.
So I don't have... No, I'm not.
Classic Hot
he's Hot
Scott.
Scott, all right?
I'm Hot Scott. I'm busy. No, I've been wanting to play Far Cry 5 since I heard about it being released, and I was a little skeptical about it based on 4 because I didn't really love 4.
I felt the same way.
3 changed my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Positively?
great. Positively.
Oh, cool.
I'm the
Because
exact
2 is terrible.
opposite
So
of you guys.
here's a question just off the top of my doctor's head here, because I think I feel the same way about 3 and the same way about 4, but I also find that 3 and 4 are so similar that it might just be the order I played them in. Whereas like 4 just became so boring to me because it was so similar to 3. So I can't tell that if I had maybe played 4 first, if I would have thought this is the amazing one and Far Cry 3 is the boring one.
Well, as somebody who played those as well, I think maybe the difference is I didn't finish Far Cry 3 to completion.
You didn't finish a game?
No, I did not finish it. Never done it before. This has
guys.
never happened.
Brian's got a weird thing about doing things to completion.
But I did finish Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 to me is the game, but I did play a lot of it in co-op. So that was something that Far Cry 3 did not have.
Not with us, though, right?
Did you play Blood Dragon? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's great.
Well,
such a good,
I'll plug that in just a minute, but keep going.
About the new one, 5. I'm coincidentally right now I'm working on a score for a documentary for a guitar company, and it does about, they want like country-ish type music. So I've been playing this game and like the music's actually really, really cool. And I've been noticing something lately in the last couple of years as far as like pause screens and load and like start screens. They always have like this kind of weird like in and out kind of music that's just, there's a really beautiful bed, and then like Fallout 4 is the same thing. It's just when you look at the loading screen, it's like these triumphant like brass section, but then it kind of goes away, and then it's something kind of looming in the background. This game does the same thing. Like the music isn't in your face or like dictating to you like what's going on. Like there are those little pieces that come and go, like when you set off an alarm or something and then people are after you, or you're like about to fight a bear. But other than that, it's not like dictating to me how I should feel emotionally when I'm playing the game, which I don't, that's what I like about games. And I think that goes back to what you guys were saying about Hollywood, is like Hollywood is dictating in big budget movies how you should feel, and in a video game, it's like you can't really do that. So when they put those two things together, it seems off. You know what I mean? So that's what I really like about this game. It's very minimalistic, but it has like these really nice guitar parts, and like it's not oversaturated with music throughout the game. The sound design doesn't clash with the tone of the songs. So as far as the game goes, I enjoy it so far. I like flying the plane. I've never been more pumped on a easy flying plane game ever, because like playing stupid shooter games back in 10 years ago, like COD, and I just dude, I'm so tired of like trying to fly helicopters and then dying. But this, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I can fly this fine.
What region are you on?
I just started on the drug region, and I'm having an issue with, and I think this is part of the mechanics of the game, is you start kind of feeling like you are becoming indoctrinated by these people. They're infatuating.
You know
what I mean? Like the girl's like, oh, like, hi.
Dude, the drug
Right?
area, because I talked about it about 3 weeks worth, because I finished it in that span of time. And the first region with there's not really an order that you have to do, but John C, the region that
that's where I started.
Yeah, the region that they like heavily suggest you go towards is very it's interesting because it's like such a brutal area, but at the same time, John Seed also is basically Tom Cruise from Magnolia. He's like this very like just like as like a certain type of like charismatic. And then I got to the drug area and I was like, man, this is creepy. This is like, I should have saved this for last. But the north area is also very disturbing in a completely different way. So I won't spoil that.
Thanks.
But it's,
Please spoil
the
it.
game really surprised me with like what it was like how it was kind of almost like indoctrinating you at the same time. Yeah.
I'm like, why am I against these dudes? I just randomly blew up that statue in the middle.
Yeah, that's how I did it too, because I just had a plane.
I was like, I'm gonna blow that thing
fly
up.
here and blow this up. Yeah.
So that's that. Other than that, I'm not really playing anything else. I finished Zelda. I finished Mario.
Those are great games.
Great. Switch is the best system ever made.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I had a real quick question, though, for you about Far Cry 5. Is your character becoming indoctrinated, or are you as the player?
Me, a human being.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, me as Hot Scott.
Your character is so they did something different with Far Cry 5 than they did with the last couple Far Cry games, which is where you no longer play a specific character. You can actually create your character. You don't have dialogue.
Oh, okay.
So you just kind of experience it first person,
Gotcha.
as opposed to Far Cry 3, where you play like an actual frat boy,
right?
And Far Cry 4, you play like a guy that's like an actual, like, he's not native, he's like from America,
but
coming
he didn't
to
speak though.
No,
he doesn't.
You're right. He doesn't speak in Far Cry 4.
In Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3, he does. He's like a dude boy.
Because you're a character in like a narrative in 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, in all of them you are. Even in this one, you're
well.
a deputy, but you are male or female, which is the big.
But you have a specific backstory in Far Cry 4. Like you're going to like bury your mom's ashes.
There's not much of a story.
I mean, you are the deputy. I mean, it's not like there's I agree with you. There's not much story, but it's not like there's nothing. They do give you at least basic pointers, like, hey, you're this guy. You're not just random dude in Montana.
They're just like, cops are boring.
Walks. Yeah, your random dude in Montana walks into a cold area and says, I'm gonna kill them all.
So, Hot Scott, that's what you're playing right now, right? Anything else?
That's it.
Cool, awesome. Brank, you want to hit us up with the games you're playing, man?
I was originally going to talk about Ni no Kuni 2 because that is all I've been playing, but
You're going to talk about Mass Effect instead.
I'm going to talk about Mass Effect. No, I'm actually going to talk about, I turned on Jade Empire. It's an Xbox original backwards compatible game. It's turned on for about 3 minutes today.
It's a long time.
I know. And I played some of it, and it plays exactly like I remember it. And it's an amazing game. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to try it. It might be my favorite BioWare game,
really?
It or Mass Effect, but it's really cool. It was something that, I, as people off the show and on the show may know, I did live in China for a while, and this was a game about Chinese culture when I was not interested in it, and it is extremely interesting and cool. And I suggest everyone tries it if you can. It's $10 on Xbox, and I had purchased it on my 360, so I just downloaded it and played it.
Yeah.
It plays great. If you have a Xbox One X, it's in 4K now too.
Oh, nice.
You're playing it on your 360?
Playing on my 360. No, I bought on my 360, so the
Yeah.
purchase carried over.
It's a remaster, right?
No, they're just backwards compatible now.
Just backwards
so
compatible.
they
Okay.
all get boosted. I want to say they're all at 720 or 1080p now, and then they get 4K upgrades if you have an Xbox One X.
Cool.
Why did I buy an Xbox One then?
I know.
Jeez.
I know, man. You got that X,
Should have
you
seen the
dummy.
future.
You stupid dumb idiot.
Are you?
That's
Yikes.
how we treat all of our guests. We just
I love attacking.
Moments ago,
we berate them.
Brank was just asking Hot Scott to tell him he's cool.
Well,
So.
I need that
It's
reaffirmation.
a roller
okay?
coaster of emotions.
Hey, you know what? I still love you.
You
Hot
guys,
Scott.
you realize this is all Dave's tyranny, right?
It is, yeah.
You guys are becoming indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Southern
That's what he
California
wants.
hospitality.
So
what he wants.
It's true.
spread your wings.
Don't even know
Are
myself.
you not going to talk about Ni no Kuni at all?
No, I'm almost at the end. I didn't finish it yet, though. I'll probably check in a little bit next week. But
Is that
I'll
a real end or is it a your end?
I could go to the end of the game right now. It's great. I love the game. I played it for 60 plus hours.
Do you want to talk about how every
But-
reviewer that reviewed it is coming out now and saying it's shit?
Whoa.
I do want to talk about that. They're all liars.
Wait, really? That's the feedback?
No,
though,
no
from-
one's done that. It's universally like praised and for good reason. If you like Studio Ghibli, you'll enjoy this game. If you
what if
fun,
I
you'll enjoy
don't
this game.
like
That's what I
Studio
predict is
Ghibli.
going to happen in like 10 years with Last Jedi reviews.
What, people will come back against it?
People will be like, oh yeah, we were paid by Disney, or oh yeah,
Yeah,
like,
oh.
I was afraid of my job.
Yeah, it's stuff like that's crazy.
Everybody was drunk when they saw it.
Okay, let's not talk about that because we could talk about that all night.
Depressing.
For
night
1
it would
minute.
be.
Could we?
But no, yeah, Kuni 2 is great. I'll probably be it this week. I may say a little bit about it, but God of War is pretty much all I'll talk about next week. If it's as good as every reviewer who gave it, whatever, I don't want to say on the show, did. But yeah, Jade Empire, I just want to say because I love it, and we talked about BioWare games, and I realized half of you haven't played this, and now is the time.
For someone who's not played it, and for someone who is really impatient with things that they are coming to for the first time that are old, not me. Should I play this game?
That's a hard question because it is an old game. It's like, did you play Knights of the Old Republic?
No, I watched friend of the show, Max in China play it, but I have never played it.
Okay, it's very similar to that. It was their next game. So
It's the game after KOTOR?
yeah, after KOTOR. So it's before Mass Effect, after KOTOR. It is, it's that era.
Yeah, is it still playable though?
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's great. It is an action RPG where you use martial arts to fight, and there's a lot of Chinese culture, and
Isn't that a little racist? Martial arts?
it is. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
it's not PC at all, guys. In a lot of ways, it's not. I mean, most of the women are.
No, he's talking about
super
the main
scantily
character is
clad.
a sheriff named Martial Arts.
Yeah,
Oh,
martial arts.
Martial Fart.
And
Kind of
he's
like a
really
last,
good at art.
Last Samurai situation.
Oh, dude.
God.
Marshall
Okay.
sent to the Jade Empire.
Oh man.
Was it
kills-
his first day of work?
What was his first day?
First day of
Okay.
work, first day on the
It's
job.
a bad day.
I will never forget that game for multiple reasons. I bought Doom right after, and instead I had my dad return it, and I picked up World of Warcraft because we were that young.
What?
And that's when I played World of Warcraft. But yeah, Jade Empire will always be that time frame for me. The Halo 2, World of Warcraft, LAN Party Fest, forever.
So Jade Empire is a World of Warcraft LAN party fest.
It is
That's all you know
that
about it?
period of life. It is
Okay.
the high school meet up with all your friends,
Got
have
it.
fun.
I was 30 when I started playing.
No,
World
it
of
is not. Hot Scott is lying right now. We're all 16-year-old boys on the show. We're not a day older. Everybody's
bet you
watching
are.
this.
You were a little late to the WoW party, weren't
I
you?
totally
Scott?
was.
Yeah.
I only started playing because of you and my brother-in-law.
What
Yeah.
expansion did you start on?
Probably
At the
Brank.
very end of Lich.
Oh wow, you were way
Right.
too late to that.
As
game.
I was like leaving my height of the game.
You
were
needed to
getting
get
into
to
it.
that game before Burning Crusade because
Well,
that's when
you
it was
know,
like amazing.
Like I said, I was 30 when I started.
Are you 20?
I had a life before that.
Lich was a
COD.
great expansion though. It's a good time to get into it. Cataclysm was not so great. but
It was fun when it came out the night
For-
of at midnight. I stayed
Yeah.
up till like 8 in the morning just raging.
what
with
are you, like a-
thousands of dudes.
Are you flow rider? Staying up till 8 in the morning?
Well, I was 30. I was younger.
Yeah.
I was younger back then.
I was a young man.
Brank, you gonna talk about any of the games?
No, I just wanted
Okay.
to throw that out there. I'll talk about Ni no Kuni 2 next week.
Okay, so real quick before I hop to JJ, JJ promised on the show last week that he would beat Lost Sphear.
Sphere.
Beer. Did you do that?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
It's complete.
You did it to completion. That's
I did it to completion.
That's huge for you.
You want me to give you a rundown on the ending here? Because I've only spoke so highly about the game.
Did you like the ending? You don't have to give us a rundown. Did you like it?
Tell us the whole game from beginning to the end.
Beginning to the end. No,
We're going to get the moon counter ready, too, for
the
you.
moon counter, there you go. No, it was just your typical JRPG ending. You beat the last boss, credits roll. But what I didn't like was that there's a point in the game where you're going through the last dungeon to get to this boss. You get to the boss, and then you're like, there's really cheesy dialogue, and they go, "Oh no, he's got a force field. You're never gonna get through that." And he like does this, long monologuing, and then it kicks you out of the last dungeon, and there's like another 2 hours of gameplay you got to go through. They're like, "Oh, we got to get a weapon that's gonna get us through this force field and let us fight this guy." And then so you play for another 2 hours, and you got to go back through the dungeon. And you have to do all these little teleporter things to get back to the boss, and then you can finally fight him. And then he, it's like a 5-minute fight.
Okay, that just so you audience know, that was not the rundown. We do not want to hear the rundown.
No, you don't want to hear the rundown.
Well, I like Sean William Scott still quite a bit. Okay, so I would love to hear about the rundown.
Dude, I would love to see that movie again. Isn't The Rock?
Does not hold up as well.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It was kind of a good movie. Like I thought it was funny.
Have you watched it recently? It was on Netflix.
Not recently, but
yeah, I watched it with my wife.
I think it was the second movie The Rock did after the Great Scorpion King.
Dude, wait,
yeah.
he was also in that movie. It wasn't Get Shorty, but it was like another movie.
Be Cool.
Yeah, Be Cool.
Yeah,
he was.
yeah,
He had like a monologue in it or something.
Right,
He was like auditioning for a play.
That's pre-Fast 5.
Oh,
that's how all of
pre-Fast
Rock's...
Very pre.
Is this before or after Rampage? I'm just curious.
Yeah, speaking of video game movies.
I know.
Dude, yeah, I used to love Rampage as a kid.
So everyone keeps asking if that's the movie that's going to break the video game to film curse, but I don't think...
What?
No. This is the thing. It's doing really well, but I don't think it counts because nobody
No one
knows
what
that
it
was a video game.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not like Doom.
It also is a
first-person.
game that
Right.
has absolutely zero lore, so it's all completely.
You get points for destroying buildings.
It only
Yeah,
has
that's
cultural lore.
Yeah.
Cultural lore, yeah.
It was 1985, and I was playing Rampage.
Yeah.
I met my wife.
I love the idea of you also, when you lose, you become like a small human character and you walk off screen and then you just come back on.
You're naked too, aren't you?
Yeah, you're naked.
Yeah.
just a bad day, guys.
Wonder who's naked in that movie, man. I can't wait to see it. The naked
Rock.
people.
Dude, speaking of nudity in games, me and my wife just watched Game Over Man over the weekend, and dude, there is a lot of frontal male nudity in that movie.
Sounds like a good film.
It's the
Like
Workaholics,
forgetting
guys.
Sarah Marshall status.
More.
Excellent.
But that caliber, more though.
Well, because it used to be on network television, right? With Workaholics,
yeah.
USA or
Comedy
something.
Central.
Yeah, I think it was.
So they couldn't
Comedy
do that,
Central.
but now that they're on Netflix,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot.
Was it funny though?
Dude, it is really funny, especially if you have like a diehard, sort of backdrop, or you're familiar with those movies. There's a ton of reference, a lot of pop culture references. The guys in it are just hilarious together, and like you said, there's no filters on them. If you're not a big fan of what's the little guy's name? Adam, the main
Adam Levine.
Yeah,
Or Devine.
Devine. Yeah, if you're not a big fan of him, he is really hot and heavy in this movie. So I like him in small doses, but he is a lot in this movie. But I would definitely recommend seeing it. It's really funny.
Did you guys ever see that movie where him and his brother were going to their sister's wedding, and they had Dave and something need wedding dates? Mike and Dave need wedding dates. That was just the most awkward movie ever. But anyways, back to what I was playing.
Yeah, what else are you playing?
I'm playing the Vanishing of Ethan Carter. You guys ever play it?
No.
It was I think it was a free to download game 1 month. But so you're a detective, and you start out on this island, and you're trying to figure out what happened to this kid. This kid disappeared, and you're on this island, and they don't really specify. You're like stuck in between two worlds, so you can see like the current world, or you can use your power of deduction, and you like look at rocks. You examine clues, and it opens up this. I don't want to say it's a portal, but like another viewpoint to the current world, the post kidnapping.
I'm going to
world.
interrupt you for just a second
Please.
there, officially, and just say this sounds eerily similar to your Lost Sphear Final Dungeon rundown.
Yeah.
You have portals. I'm sure there's an empire in there somewhere.
Right.
I'm sure you're restoring a missing kid that's in some other world.
Yeah.
A guy who has the answer
Let's talk
all the
about
time.
let's talk about the moon for a second.
All right, cool, guys. I mean, that's pretty much. I'm good.
So how long have you been playing the game?
About 3 hours. hours in. It's weird. There's a lot of like you come upon this. You're trying to solve the murder, and you see like there's dead bodies everywhere, and all these clues pop up on screen. So it's like
Blue's Clues,
like Blue's Clues, yeah. And you point, you're like a clue, and there's a salt and pepper shaker. No, but words pop up, and it says legs chopped off, screwdriver, son. It like gives you all these hints as to what happened, and then you go into like this little town, and the buildings are all abandoned. You got to figure out like where all the people went. It's cool. I mean, I need to play more to kind of figure out what it is, but I like it so far.
Is it a walking sim?
It's a walking
No,
sim.
it pretty much is. Like you're walking around, and it reminds me of Alan Wake, but there's less.
There's no action, right?
No action in it. So you're just walking around, and you're trying to solve crimes. You're trying to figure out. You pick up the clues, and you try to figure out what happened to this kid.
Man, I forgot about that game, Alan Wake.
Is it as scary as
So
Alan Wake?
good.
I
What a
can't play
game.
that, man.
Alan Wake was
That's too scary.
amazing.
Dude, that's not scary. You know what's scary?
What?
Dead Space.
Oh my gosh.
Dead Space is scary.
I used to
It's
make my
jumpy.
wife sit with me and play it because I couldn't play it by myself.
And did she do it?
Yeah. I was like, can you please sit on the couch
Because
with
she's
me?
the tough one, right?
Yeah, I can't watch horror.
One of the scariest gaming moments I ever had was actually the first Bioshock, because that game is super eerie.
Yeah.
And I remember that I would play it. So when that game came out, and we were like, what, 19, 20 or something like that?
45.
Frank was a 1-year-old.
Frank was a
He
1-year-old
was a
boy.
1-year-old at that time.
So I didn't have an HD TV, but my brother did, and my brother was currently living out of the country. So I would like go into his room and hook up my Xbox and play my games there. But so it like wasn't my room. I would play the game at night with all the lights off. And there's this specific scene in, I think, the first area where you go, it's a side path, and you go to some like frozen room where there's like doctor's notes, and you read about these like experiments a doctor did. And as soon as you read the last note, he appears behind you. And I used to have to like really like look into the hallways before I go back to my room.
I hate that feeling, but I
Yeah,
love it also.
it's so great.
On that game, what really scared me, if you
I didn't ask you.
play, well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
It's actually JJ's turn to talk.
Wow.
Let JJ talk about it.
I'm trying to encourage growth in JJ here.
Yeah.
It's time for you to rise up, son. You're in the middle. No, I'm just kidding. Go for it.
No, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it now. I was going to say the people dragging stuff around the hallways, and you can kind of hear
That's
it. Like
the worst.
yeah.
Also, the very beginning where there's the lady with the stroller, and she's like,
yeah.
my baby, like whatever she says, and then it's just like a tape recorder in it.
Yes.
About Dead Space, real quick. Dead Space 2 is free for everybody who has Xbox Live.
Is it?
Xbox Live Gold, yeah. It's
Is
free.
there-
Dead Space
great.
2 is free for the month.
Hey, it's
I
JJ's
didn't
turn
finish
to talk.
How much is that exactly?
It's free.
Real quick, if you haven't played Dead Space 1 to completion, is that going to be a problem?
No, I don't think so. Did you?
No.
Okay. Phew.
Got co-op too.
Oh, I can't wait to not play it with you. JJ, anything
I
else?
can't wait to get co-op requests at midnight to play it.
It's a work night.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Wait, but JJ, do you have something? Gotta keep revisiting this.
I mean,
Hey, you know what? It's your moment. Go.
This is my
I'm in the
moment.
middle, guys. All right. So, but I'm actually don't have any more games.
Does
to talk
anybody
about.
know that Rebecca Black song, This Is My Moment? It's the second song she came out with.
I
as
thought
like
her
a-
second song was Chinese food.
No,
Saturdays.
This Is My Moment.
Saturdays?
Saturdays? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, you've never heard a song like I like
What?
Chinese food, and she goes to this racist place where it's like a bunch of white people dressed up as Chinese people. and-
That's not a real thing.
Is that like?
yeah, you should watch it.
Do you guys ever see
Dude.
Garden State when he puts the makeup on his eyes to go to work and he looks like a Chinese person? Do you ever see that?
No.
I have seen Garden State. I watched it
did
with
see
Cool
Garden
Katie.
Cool Katie's pretty cool, man.
Cool Katie. So with that, I'm going to talk about the games I'm playing. I am still playing The Witness, and
Heck
and my wife and I just completed the second beacon
To completion.
to completion. And dude, that was a real challenge. I'm not gonna lie, it was super fun though. After you beat it, they after every beacon completion, they show you they give you an achievement, and it's a rare achievement, and then they tell you the percentage of the players who did it. It said that only 9% of players beat that beacon, and I was like super proud. It was like a really cool moment because it definitely took a long time.
To be fair, it doesn't mean that 9% of like the other 91% failed. It just means that of all the people playing specifically just the Xbox version, only 9% of people have played enough to beat it.
Thanks
Yeah,
for ruining the
that's
one
so-
thing
It's
his
still-
whole life.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
you
He's had
feel
nothing.
less
He's had
now?
no other accomplishments. Okay, Dr.
Not a very
Donna.
accomplished person for a lawman.
He was
No.
just hoping to have this one achievement, and you
I
took
know.
that away.
Took the moment from him.
Took it away.
I think we need to rewrite that email from Donna and the tyranny of Donna. And
I was
the-
given specific instructions to
Yeah.
reenact Dave's tyranny to give him a taste of his own medicine.
Can I just come down from the cross for like 1 second? And
Since I'm a doctor, I can distribute medicine.
okay.
So
For a moment like this. Go on. It's your moment.
Anyways, I was just like so GD impressed with myself that 9% of the entire planet had beaten that, and it's just really cool for me.
And everybody carried you on their shoulders,
Yeah.
and you were that small kid who played football, and
Your
no one
wife
said
was-
you could play football.
this is Rudy moment.
Yeah, I was Sean Astin during that time, but that's been really fun. We've been trying to get into the next beacon area. It's super difficult.
What are
because
what are you trying next?
It's in the fortress. Have you?
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
the floor puzzles.
Yeah, where you
Okay.
where you have to use your movement basically to do. The
Oh,
puzzle.
you're one of the 9% as well.
Yeah, no, clearly.
I'm the 9%ers, man.
But yeah, so that's been really fun. There's some puzzles in that section of the game that I haven't been taught how to do yet. It's one of the puzzles where, in the way that the game works, is they teach you variations on the same theme of the puzzle, and then you can learn how to do it and apply it in more complicated ways. But there's this one puzzle that I haven't learned how to do yet. It's where you see like different dots in certain blocks, and you have to I don't know, form some sort of equation, but I don't know how to use it. I'm not sure how to do that one. Do you know what I'm talking about, Brank?
It depends on which one. So they have several variations on that. They have colored dots. They have
Yeah,
black
they're
and white
colored dots.
dots. Yeah. So
They're like in the actual like square, as opposed to the black and white dots that you either like try to contain or go through. I know what you're talking about, but these are like the ones that they're like one is 3 dots and then 1 dot above it.
Yeah.
And then there's like 4 dots across. I have no idea how to do it.
I have a confession. I'm a cheater. I just came back for some of that stuff, and that's why I stopped
Yeah.
playing that game because
Yeah, once you look up one thing, you're like, okay, I'll just look
it's-
up the next thing, and then
yeah. That's why I stopped playing. But yeah, I think I remember which one that is. But yeah, it's really hard to find those out on your own. You have to just go around to different parts of the world and see if something else teaches you that.
Yeah, I think I might revisit the place that I'm in so I can hopefully learn it. But it's a super fun game. I'm looking forward to playing it some more. It's been really awesome. And then I also downloaded the expansion to Hearthstone, which you don't really download it, but I downloaded the update to allow me to play.
They never let you download that too, man. You had to force download.
Yeah. Has anyone played the latest expansion of Hearthstone?
day of the week,
Are you playing
man.
it?
Do you play Hot Scott?
No.
No. Okay, I do. Are
you playing it,
sorry, I
Brank?
thought you were about to say you played it. Yeah, I play it.
What legendary did you get?
Oh man, I can't remember. I just remember I don't have enough cards to make any of the
How much dust
preset
do you
decks.
have?
2,000.
Okay. When you say preset deck, you just mean like a deck that they offer you to make when
there's
you're in there?
3 different decks that they
Yeah.
offer you to make, and I saw, I can't make any of those, so I'm just gonna make standards. So I pretty much will never be able to beat it. It's frustrating too because I made an armor-based warrior like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Is this something that you could, if you paid real money, you would be able to?
I'd probably get
Like
enough
$50
dust or gold, yeah. But I made an armor-based warrior which cost me 12,000 dust to make, or 10,000, and so I spent all my dust on that. And then I found out most of those cards are in the wild now, so I don't.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb of me. I didn't realize I hadn't played the game for so long. I didn't realize we're now in the next stage, and I joined
you're
late.
the Raven. Anyways, though, what they're doing is pretty cool. If you log in right now, you get 3 free packs for the new expansion, and then you also get a class legendary card. The legendary card that I got was for the mage, Archmage. Argus, who's a featured NPC in Shadowfang Keep. I don't know, Brank, did you ever do Shadowfang Keep in WoW?
No.
Okay, anyways. It's actually a pretty meta card. I'm playing a elemental deck right now, which is really fun. It's all about elemental synergies. I also spent all my dust on building the deck, and I obviously am rusty, but dude, I am like having trouble getting out of like the 20s rank.
It's
It
almost
is
impossible.
really hard. Everyone you play has a meta deck now.
That armor warrior that I had, I killed everybody. I think I almost got to 13 or 14 with it, or 14 or 13, which is crazy now.
Yeah, it's a good rank, yeah,
because-
for sure.
Is this one of those games where you have to pay money to be like truly successful in it?
That's debatable. We've already talked about it on the show, but there was a really successful pro gamer. I forget what his his name is, but he had said the opposite, where no, anyone can be pro, get a high rank as long as you're skilled enough. So he made a new account where he just played with the basic starting cards, and he couldn't get out of rank 20.
Is that Trump SC? Because he used to do that stuff all the time, and
I don't
then
know.
he can't anymore.
But
now.
if you're lazy and you suck at video games like me, I would have to pay a lot of money to be good at it.
Okay, but now that the game is so saturated with people who have really great decks and a lot of dust, and people who have over time invested money, if you suck at the game, you won't be able to get out of those ranks, because you're like, basically you've paid to play. You're like, okay, I have the cards, I can play now, but you're not going to get any further than that because everyone has the same.
So don't play.
Yeah.
It's not pay to win.
The fun parts about the game, in my opinion, still are. It's still fun to collect the cards and to open the card packs. I still enjoy that. But the most fun I have in the game lately is the NPC stuff, like the Kobolds and Catacombs dungeon dives. That's really fun because you're playing with cards that are randomly generated to you. They're not your cards, and you're playing against the computer. So
it's like Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, kind of.
Very similar.
Yeah, it's like,
I love that game.
This game is Magic with training wheels in my as like a simple way to define the game. But I have a lot of fun doing those dungeon runs, and they're great for like when you're waiting at work and you don't have anything to do, or if you're just kind of like chilling out like on your phone, because it's on the phone now. So.
Or you're doing work, but there's nothing to do, so you're using company time to play Hearthstone.
Yeah, I'm like I'm wearing my company jacket right now too.
Don't let people know that's 7-Eleven.
It's Safeway. Actually, no, I quit and now I'm at Circle K. But anyways, I'm having fun playing that again. Not so much fun in the competitive because I am not doing very well. But anyways, that's it for me.
No, get good.
Get good, noob. Well, let's take a quick break and let's collect ourselves and just come back to this from a place of strength.
Super BS.
Brank here from Super BS. I want to share a little bit about some friends of ours and their incredible company, Innovate Inc. Innovate is a young company immersed in the latest technology. As video game enthusiasts, they've embraced both AR and VR and use these technologies to significantly change the ways that we can experience the world. But Innovate isn't just an AR or VR company. They also help take businesses to the next level by building attractive websites, creating modern brands, and using digital marketing to engage current and new audiences. They focus on working with small businesses who are looking for a professional digital brand. You could have a bad experience trying to build a website by learning JavaScript or HTML, or you can count on Innovate. They pride themselves in delivering the best service by working with you to get your ideal outcome. If you're interested in learning more about their work or the companies who have partnered with them, check out their website at innovate.tech. That's INNOVADE.tech. Invent, invest, improve. Innovate.
Super BS.
All right, we're back. So we have a throwback special little sweet treat for us tonight. I think we have Professor Brank dropping a quiz on our sweet selves.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. What's the quiz tonight, man? What's it on?
Like our topic, it's going to be on video game soundtracks and composers.
Okay.
You guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, my dudes. It's to go a little bit quicker. A lot of it is going to be multiple choice, but there will be a few questions that will not be.
Does on the quiz?
He's not answering one of my choices.
That is, you'll get 0 points though. I wouldn't like 0 points if I were you.
0 points.
Multiple zeros.
There are going to be 5 questions and a bonus question.
So
okay,
6 questions.
Well, 5 questions and a bonus.
I mean,
count
do
it
we have
however...
to get 5 questions right to be worthy
No,
of
just
answering
count
the
it
6?
as 5 questions and a bonus. Okay, I only do it that way.
Is that
I
a
don't
back
even-
rub bonus or?
I do give back rubs to whoever wins. You have to win.
I'll
Okay.
take one.
So this first one should be easy for you guys. Question 1, and do
We're
not
at 6.
do
for
not
that last
say-
question.
do not say this out loud because then you'll give somebody else the answer. So, question 1: who is the composer of the Super Mario Brothers theme? Is it Shigeru Miyamoto, Koji Kondo, Kenji Yamamoto? Again, is it Shigeru Miyamoto, Koji Kondo, Kenji Yamamoto.
I love your accent. It's really
Grazie.
It feels kind of racist.
really
to me.
right on.
That's Japanese. It's grazie.
No.
Okay, question
Love
2.
Yahtzee.
What is the first video game to win a Grammy? Is it Journey, Civilization 4, or Final Fantasy X? What is the first video game to win a Grammy? Is it Journey, Civilization 4, or Final Fantasy X? So, question 3. Who was the composer who won this Grammy? Was it Austin Wintory, Christopher Tin, or Jeremy Soule? Who was the composer who won the first video game Grammy? Was it
How many of these names are made up?
all of them? Okay. So Austin Wintory, Christopher Tin, or Jeremy Soule. Number 4. What was the category that they won? Was it Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media, Best Instrumental Composition, or Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocalists?
So it seems like if you don't know one of the answers to this, that's just
You're
three.
going to know all
right.
three.
This is not a quiz about variety. This is a quiz about one
I
thing.
think that's why it's multiple choice.
Brank happened to catch this one.
Can you repeat
day.
number 2?
Okay, so this is question 4. I will ask one last time and then I'll move on to the next one. What was the category? Was it Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media, Best Instrumental Composition, Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocalists? Okay. Then I'm going to skip this other one because you guys are going to say it's just the same category thing and go to the final question.
It's another question.
Don't
about
worry
the
about it.
same-
What outfit was the composer wearing?
And was it a Nintendo 64 launch game?
Okay, it was. All of them were. Okay, so this will be the final question.
So
Then
is
it'll
this
be
still
5.
a bonus question?
It is. It is a.
But it's
question
the 5th
four.
question now. So
It's 5th question.
Take
and
control of your
bonus.
classroom,
Fifth
Brank.
bonus.
It is a
question.
bonus 5th question. You're
Okay.
getting a bonus question, you lucky jerk. Okay.
Lucky.
I just want to clarify the terms.
Okay.
Should I treat this as extra credit?
Shut up! What was the first video game to contain original music scored by an orchestra? Was it Myst, Heart of Darkness, or Myth 2?
Heart of Darkness is like a book.
What was the first video game to contain original music scored by an orchestra?
Shouldn't we get a bonus multiple choice?
Apocalypse
Oh
Now,
my
right?
God!
So it's Myst, Heart of Darkness, and what?
Myth 2.
I missed that question. Could you repeat it?
I mythed it, actually.
You missed it?
Yeah, you missed it.
Dang you guys! Okay, are we done with all those?
Yeah, we're good.
Very
Okay,
done.
we're gonna go around
What's
the
bonus
table.
question?
That what was? Do you want to know?
I mean, there should be another bonus question.
What was the first 4
because-
bonus questions?
Do you guys want to know the other question?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
we'll just skip it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, question 1, I'm going to ask you guys all your answers and see who got it right. Dr. Donna, who is the composer of the Super Mario Brothers theme?
I wrote Koji Kondo.
Okay. Davey, who was it?
Koji.
JJ?
I put Miyamoto.
Okay. Hot Scott?
Yamimoto?
Oh, sorry, guys. It was Koji Kondo.
So we're right
Okay. So, you guys got it wrong. Okay. What is the first video game to win a Grammy? Donna?
I wrote Journey.
Same
Dave.
journey.
then. Final Fantasy.
Hot Scott?
Definitely wasn't Final Fantasy because of that was my answer, and then I heard the question 3, and I was like, "It's definitely not Final Fantasy." I went with Civ.
Civ 4, Hot Scott.
Nice.
You got it. That was in 2011. Okay. Who was the composer? Donna.
Well, I think it's not Austin Wintory because he was
Yeah,
the Journey
he was the
composer.
Journey.
This was a bullshit quiz.
Dave, who was the composer?
I, with
Not
no
bullshit when you
knowledge of anything, wrote Chris.
Nice. Heck yeah. JJ.
I, with all the knowledge of all the things, wrote Chris.
No. Did you really write Chris?
I did.
Okay.
Wait, what are you questioning that?
Just because.
Just think I don't know
you get
things?
off on
Because
it.
he wanted this quiz to be one that we all failed.
Yeah.
No, I
Which is
did
why
not.
he-
I chose a. I
So
used
so
a
you just
multiple
assume.
choice.
You just assume that I'm going to fail.
Okay. And Hot Scott?
Soul.
Okay, so seems like we got Hot Scott with 1, Davey with 2, Donna with 1, or yeah, you said okay, and
Yeah,
then
we don't need to
JJ
do
with
the,
1.
the
Okay.
score every 1
every
second.
single score. Okay, what was the
Okay.
category?
The Grammys.
Okay, what was the category? What category?
No, it's a category of quiz. It's a Grammy quiz.
It's a Grammy quiz.
Okay, I'm
This is
sorry.
not a video game soundtrack
It
quiz.
is a video game. This was a video game soundtrack that won.
Grammys.
Okay.
He wrote this while he was doing his coding homework. guys, so
Okay,
cut him some
Dr.
slack.
Donna, what was the category that Civ 4 won?
Oh, the 4 really long categories that you gave us 1 second to write down.
I wrote the first thing.
I wrote the second.
Okay, it was wrong. Okay, Dave,
first.
wrong.
Dang.
What was the?
That must be the third then.
What was the one that was like a sentence?
Yes, it was the
Accompanying a
the
vocalist.
third
That's
one.
the one that I picked.
3.
Okay, all right. Hot Scott, you're back in the lead, man.
Just do a
Okay.
quick score recap on everyone's score.
Now,
I have 2.
Okay.
for finally the
For finally.
non-bullshit question that you guys are like, this is BS.
Super
BS.
What was the first video game to contain original music scored by an orchestra? Donna.
I wrote Mist.
Davey.
I wrote myths.
Okay. JJ.
What is the shape of water?
Oh my God. Get off the show. Hot Scott.
Get out the show.
Meist.
Mice.
Okay, you guys all got it wrong. You guys should have guessed the one that sounds super weird. It's Heart of Darkness, 1998. It was done by...
Yeah, we
Now,
should have
right?
read your mind and known the
Yeah,
answers.
you guys... Why didn't you guys know all the answers?
Can you make it easier to cheat next
This
time?
is not in your study
I
guide.
just... Okay, my options were to write an RPG video game score thing where Donna would have won all of it, or write something where it would have been fair. I
Guys,
wrote
my-
what was
my
fair.
parent-
I guess this was fair in that no one would know anything. So yeah, it was fair.
Hey guys, I had fun.
Thank you, Hot Scott.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With an asterisk.
I appreciate it.
Meaning none.
I am glad that we did this quiz. I'm hoping other people enjoyed
what's
it.
the final score? I got 2 points.
Hot Scott?
2.
You too.
Donna?
I got 1.
JJ?
I got 1 too, so I win.
We should probably do a quick
Tiebreaker?
death match with me and Hot Scott.
Okay, Hot
actual
Scott.
bonus
Okay,
question.
this is... Okay, I can do this.
Oh, great.
Hot Scott and Dave, because Donna can't be a part of this.
For legal
What?
reasons.
Is the name of the composer for Kingdom Hearts? Is it Nobu Uematsu,
Is that a word?
Yoko Shimomura, or Koji Kondo?
Okay.
Dave, go ahead.
I think you mean Cozy Kondo, like
Cozy. It's a cozy.
on a modest salary.
I don't think it was the last one.
Okay, so
Can-
Dave or Hot
Can I
Scott?
get a lifeline here?
You can ask a
friend.
lifeline as long as it's
And phone a
JJ.
friend.
As my doctor's here.
No, you can't ask a
I'm actually
doctor.
medically required to answer any patient
No,
questions.
he's not allowed to.
It's true.
It's patient
This
doctor
is-
confidentiality.
I can answer. I can help them with a riddle in itself.
Okay, you can riddle them.
The answer
Prescribe them
lies.
Ritalin.
Ritalin, yeah.
The answer lies in the breaking up of the Beatles.
Oh, Yoko.
Ah, come on. It was a good riddle, but that is just...
I
everybody
picked
knew.
Yoko as well.
Oh, my God.
Because I haven't said an answer yet.
Nobody wins. Everybody loses. I
Good
win.
job.
We all,
Hooray.
get, we all get 50 bonus points for
Let's see what this...
Great job, guys.
Let's see what Jacob's been yelling at us.
What are the prizes?
You've won an all-expense paid trip
You
to
don't
Banning,
lose.
California.
Always wanted to go there.
What does he say?
Jake was just wrong on every question, so I just wanted to
It's
check.
all good, Jake.
He guessed missed on every single one.
Oh, miss. He missed it by a mile.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Well, that was fun, Brank.
I think that quiz was amazing, said somebody off show.
I love quizzes, and
Quiz.
I would love to
Quiz
learn
Jenner.
more about them one day.
Yeah. Turn
should.
it up, Chris.
Okay, so we got some news for you guys tonight. As we've always talked on the show, that we are your original news source for gaming news.
Correct.
We originate.
We create the news on the show, and then the world imitates it. Life imitates art. Am I right? Or vice
Yeah.
versa. So first off, we have been reading some little thingies on the new Bioshock that's going to be coming out. Donna, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, as someone that has not read a single word about it, but does have opinions.
Oh, okay, good.
This came up in an article about a completely different game, right? This is how, right? How did this come up?
No, it was just a rumor this week about the next Biowalk.
But it has something to do with Mafia 3, right? Like the developers of that were like talking to people that were making the Bioshock game or something like that.
That I don't know.
I have no idea. What's the point of though? Like the main dude's not on it, right?
Oh yeah, Ken Levine is no longer a part of that company. What's his company now? It's not Irrational anymore.
He's doing
Irrational is
movies now, I thought, isn't he?
He was supposed to be
Maybe.
doing Logan's Run, but that fell through. So I don't know what he's doing.
this is going to be another like case of we'll just have to see because it's going to be a creation without its creator. Bioshock 2 was a surprisingly good game for not really involving the main crew that did Bioshock 1 and Bioshock Infinite. So it could be that. There's always, I mean, anytime that a corporation like wants to like continue to utilize its assets without the original minds, that there's always that risk that maybe the team will come up with something good. Maybe it will never be just a, like, it's always more complicated than describing it as a cash grab. So it's not necessarily that, but the chances of it living up are definitely different in the same way that, like we talked about with Mass Effect Andromeda, like even going into it, everyone knew that the studio making the game was not the original team, nor was it even the good, like a seasoned BioWare team. It was like a brand new studio that made mobile games, I think, or something.
It was the A++ team.
Yeah, so
better than the A team.
And we also knew that the head Mass Effect team was making Anthem, so this is going to be another one of those things we'll just have to see. I suppose it could be cool. It's been a while since we've seen kind of like an explory. I mean, has there been a lot of first-person exploring games?
2017.
That's right, Prey. I forgot about that game. Easily
you beat that
forgettable.
game, right, Brank?
I did.
That's great.
Really good.
Did you actually beat it?
I did. I told you guys about it. We talked about it on the show maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah, so that's another.
$15.
That's a game where
Get
it sounds like the gambit sort of worked, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with the original Prey.
But okay, so the gambit, it's not about the original Prey, but the same group who made System Shock, like their guy Harvey. I cannot remember his name. He's
Dent.
Harvey Dent.
Weinstein.
He's the main guy from Arcane. They're all that crew, and Ken Levine, Harvey, and oh my goodness, guy who made Epic Mickey and the original Deus
Phil
Ex.
Spector.
Epic Mickey.
He it's that's not far off from his name.
Yeah,
Warren Spector.
Warren Spector.
Yeah, so those guys all made that genre, and so they all split off. So Arcane made Dishonored and Prey, 2017, and then Ken Levine made the Bioshock series.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so Prey is a situation where it worked out having basically an in-name franchise that Bethesda owned, coming back with something that was totally unrelated. So we will see what happens with a new Bioshock. It could be interesting. I mean, at the very least, it'll be interesting to see what they try and do.
Yeah. Bioshock Infinite was awesome.
If they try to harp too much on, if they try and recreate anything from the past Bioshocks, though, it's probably doomed to fail. So they're going to have to come up with an original idea.
Yeah.
Like in bringing back Daddy or whatever.
Yeah, like if they have Big Daddies and more Rapture Time, I mean, it's so wrapped up, all that stuff. So it's like going back would be hard to imagine that being actually good, other than it's fun for a few minutes to relive. Like, oh, I'm looking at Big Daddies and better graphics, but then the game, like, how would they fit in? I don't know how they would fit in.
I hope they
in
don't,
there.
because I might be spitting blasphemy in this room, but I did not like the first two Bioshocks at all.
Oh man,
Did you play them? Did you play them later?
I tried, and then
Did you revisit them like much later though?
No, like not too far after one was out, I played it, and I was just like, ugh. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't like that time period in a game.
Yeah.
But then when Infinite came out, I love that game.
I loved Infinite.
So good.
I loved watching people play Bioshock 1 because I didn't have the means to play Bioshock back in the day. And then revisiting them, I played a lot of Bioshock 1, but I get really claustrophobic. And it's like super dark. And I just don't enjoy... It's just for the same reason I don't really like playing Fallout 3 and 4. I just don't like being in those worlds too long.
I know
it's kind of a weird thing, but
it also is reminiscent of a specific time. Both of those games, it's like this 50s kind of like,
which I do. I like the
thing.
50s thing. I think.
I
It's
mean,
cool,
you
but-
were there.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's that
100
retro
years
future
old.
sort of Art Nouveau thing or whatever it's called.
which I think is fun, but the like actual bleakness of it is not something that I typically enjoy. But whatever.
Fallout 4 is great. So is 3. You're crazy.
Actually, New Vegas is great.
I like
New
New
Vegas.
Vegas is good.
I like
I like
Fallout
New
3
Vegas.
a lot. I had a really hard time getting into Fallout 4.
Really?
I played for about 40 hours, which sounds like a long time, but I couldn't do
I had a hard time getting into a 40-hour.
I couldn't. I probably didn't even get through 50% of that story though, because my stupid civilizations kept getting attacked. So I had to
worst.
keep like defending them.
They only get attacked if you're there.
No, they send you a little thing on the radar. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
you don't really need to go back and check on them.
Hot Scott.
They're big. They're big kids.
I did the same thing with my kids.
They're all adults now. Anyways, so something about a Genesis Master, is that some sort of weird like cult thing you're into, JJ, or what is that?
Yeah, just cult stuff. No, they announced the Sega Master System was coming out in Japan,
like a mini master,
mini Master
SNES
System. So it's supposed to have a bunch of games on a hard drive, but it also has the cartridge that will let you put your old cartridges in and play. But which is cool because the Air Games one, if I remember correctly, you could play some cartridges, but you couldn't play all of them. So this
is this the one that's coming from Sega?
Yeah, it's from Sega themselves instead of Air Games. So on this one, you can actually play all of the cartridges. So if you were like a retro gaming collector, you could put the game in and actually be able to play it instead of, without having to wonder whether or not it's going to work. And they also, but they haven't given us a Western release date announcement on that. So I'm wondering if we'll see something at E3 maybe.
I don't think it will be big enough to be at E3, but maybe.
I would hope that it would come out here because retro gaming is kind of becoming a movement over here.
I think what Brank means though is that it's just such an unremarkable story that it probably wouldn't be something they're like saving for E3 because Sega doesn't really have a big presence outside as a publisher. So
would this be something you guys would be interested in?
Yeah, there's a lot of Sega games that my brother and I grew up playing. As long as Steel Empire is on it, I'll be okay.
Gotta get that Streets of Rage, man.
Honestly, JJ, I feel like you're burying the lead. Not only did they announce this, but they announced that they're bringing most of the classic games to Switch.
So I wanted to ask you guys about this. Do you think that that's going to entail some kind of virtual console that we keep talking about? Or is it just going to be like an app and then you can go through?
No, it's not going to be an app. It's just going to be like...
They're just selling them on the... Oh, okay. All right.
Like they do this with 3DO games right now.
Okay.
Or not 3DO, what's Neo Geo games?
Yeah, Neo Geo.
You just go through it. Okay.
But the other thing that they announced at that exact same time was Shenmue 1 and 2 coming to Xbox One and PS4. It was like a big Sega conference. That was awesome.
Never played those.
Oh, those are great.
Go ahead, tell us about it though.
I don't need to tell you guys about it, but it's awesome.
Actually, why don't you tell us about the GameStop robbery?
Oh, the GameStop robbery?
Yeah.
I didn't get to read too much about this, but
it
I
was
had
a very unsuccessful robbery for Brank.
Yeah.
What was he trying to take is what I want to know.
You can ask him. He's sitting right here.
Yeah. I just love... the only reason why I even want to bring this up is because it's like those hilarious blunders that you can't even believe somebody would have. A guy broke into GameStop. He put one of those like plastic... not like a bag, but like the thing that contains the water bottles from like Costco or someplace like that. Took all the water bottles out, put that over his head that he thought would hide his head, but obviously it's see-through and it only doesn't show like a quarter of his head. And then he proceeded to rob a GameStop where you could totally see his face in every video feed.
Was he trying to steal physical games or was he robbing the cash register? What was he doing?
I think he was trying to steal games.
And then he got there and realized God of War doesn't come out till Friday.
I read something similar. Like there was another story where someone committed a robbery and they rubbed lemon juice on their face because that's what makes invisible ink. And so he assumed that would make his face invisible.
It worked, right?
Everybody knows robbers are geniuses.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't like to talk about my past. So.
Hot Scott, you know you never do that, Hot Scott.
Yeah.
We've already kind of talked about Witchwood, so I think we can safely skip that.
About what?
Witchwood?
It's the Hearthstone
expansion.
The
Hearthstone expansion.
Oh, okay.
So Diarrhea Chronicles. Brink, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, Diarrhea Chronicles. Sure. Valkyria Chronicles.
Sure.
Valkyria Chronicles 4. We talked about that actually. It's coming out on Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. I guess for some odd reason the Switch version is getting delayed, and this is happening with another game we're going to talk about soon. But in recompense, we are getting the first Valkyria Chronicles, a PS3 game. It's a really, really cool tactical strategy game where if anybody played Final Fantasy Tactics, it would be like you click on a character, but as soon as you click on the character, it's a third-person game where you have a set amount of movement, and you can like aim and shoot, and you have separate types of classes, and you can level up your characters and level up the classes as a whole. It's really cool. But anyways, that's coming to Switch in Japan, and we're hoping it's going to come to the US.
Coming with a special armor called the Recompense as well.
WRECK.
It's called Panch, right?
Recompense. Smells like beer.
Recompense? Like you had an accident or something?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, Donna, why don't you tell us about Starfield for a second?
Starfield is the long in development, rumored / Bethesda sci-fi open world game that is apparently going to be at this year's E3. I think the good thing is that means we'll probably see an Elder Scrolls teaser too, because I don't know if this is. I'm sure the game will be at E3. I think the rumor is that the game is coming out this fall, Starfield. Which is why I think we'll see Elder Scrolls at E3. Because if they weren't putting out this game till at least next year, and they're not putting out Elder Scrolls till after that, they would just piss off so many people to get an Elder Scrolls teaser like 4 years out or whatever. But yeah, so Starfield is basically a Bethesda game, but science fiction.
Cool.
So
do you think they're trying to break into like Mass Effect territory with that?
I mean, it's going to be like a first-person open-world game.
Okay.
Bethesda games never tell character stories; they always tell lore stories.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, Elder Scrolls has like an amazing, rich tapestry of lore. Like I can't get enough of like learning about Daedric princes and all the like different like just aspects of Tamriel. So hopefully they do something similar.
Hopefully they'll have more characters than how.
Yeah, I mean,
it bums me out that there's like all humanoids and then one leopard.
Yeah.
There's also the Argonians.
Yeah, Argonians.
Oh yeah,
the Khajiit.
And then there's only one. I mean, there's humanish races are the Nords, the Bretons, and the Imperials.
It's
and
a lot.
I guess the Red Guards.
The Red Guard.
the
Elves. But the elves don't really count.
elves.
I mean, there's high elves and there's wood elves and there's dark elves.
3 elves.
but they're just people with pointy ears.
I mean, yeah, different lifespans and completely different like
and
societies
they need
and
dwarves.
heritage.
Okay.
The dwarves in Elder Scrolls games are also elves.
Yeah, the Dwemer.
The Dwemer, yeah.
That's true.
Gimlis.
Yeah.
This tapestry is just coming to life for me right now.
Yeah, but they're like the whole. So hopefully they have an interesting world that they've built up. Again, to have an open world game like their style of games, you really can't. I mean, I don't think you can really do a super convincing character story. At least I don't think Bethesda can. I think Obsidian got close with Fallout New Vegas, having really interesting characters, but they're better at making Fallout games than Bethesda. So,
I thought Fallout did pretty good of character development.
yeah, but the atmosphere and the types of characters in Fallout 3 is still really good, but in Fallout 4 especially is so far off from what the Fallout universe is, whereas Obsidian definitely had the benefit of having people that invented Fallout on their team, so they were able to capture the humor and just the whole like actual vibe that it's supposed to have. But either way, the point being is that an open world exploration game where you're free to go in whatever direction you want, it's really hard to do like a super convincing like Mass Effect style narrative. So I don't think we should expect something like that. So hopefully we can expect a cool universe to play around in.
Cool. Sounds fun. Field of Dreams. Brank, why don't you tell us about the Dark Souls delay that you're so stoked on?
Yeah, I'm loving this. Well, actually, it was Veet who was super excited about the game, and I was kind of on the fence. But I have a trip coming up around that time, a few days after it was supposed to release. Lego World. I like Lego World a lot. But my trip was supposed to be my trip is going to be May 29th, and the game was supposed to come out May 25th. However, the Xbox One and PS4 release will still be May 25th, but the Switch release got delayed to the summer. So, similar to Valkyria Chronicles, I imagine that because it's running off a Tegra chip instead of like the same architecture that Xbox One and PS4 are running off of, which is similar to PC stuff, there must be something that's making it difficult to port quickly. Because
just working with Nintendo, maybe?
I don't think it's working with Nintendo, though. I actually think it's the architecture. I think it must be complex enough, which is not a good thing, as we know from cell architecture on PS3. Like, you don't want to have something where it's really hard to port.
Well, it's probably complicated because of the nature of handheld mode versus large screen. I'm sure there's like resolution changes and things you have to consider.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating because I wish it was easier, because I think we'd see the ports coming quicker and faster. Like Wolfenstein 2 right now on Switch, they're constantly optimizing just so they can make it run better. But I don't know. Hopefully it'll be out soon.
Yeah, that'll be awesome if it ever comes out. Black Ops 4, no campaign.
Yeah.
Brank.
But also, apparently, there's a rumor that there's going to be a battle royale mode.
Yeah, that's supposedly replacing the campaign. So
Why?
Great.
Because Fortnite and PUBG are like
Yeah.
such massive.
Well, and Maelstrom too.
People still play shooter games like that?
Dude,
That's
yeah, like the
like
whole.
the PUBG ones, or
Well, just like any like look, I've been out of the game for a little bit with the
So
shooters.
basically, like the biggest thing in the world besides League of Legends is people just watching other people play battle royale games. So Fortnite and PUBG, they're technically third person for the most part, and they're like however many people start a match and there's one winner. So it's like an elimination. So
they should watch people watching Battle Royale.
yeah,
That's what they should be doing.
It's like the whole
Twitch yourself.
We've talked about the culture of streaming and Twitch and all that kind of stuff. And for me personally, I find it to be stupid. But
I do understand it from a perspective. So when I played Minecraft for like a long time, and I think it's one of the best games ever. Speaking of music, wow. But I used to watch this dude in England play for hours and hours, and he would like, he's one of the first people to do it. It wasn't even on Twitch, it was on YouTube. He'd be on there playing, building. He'd play like there's like people would make RPG maps in Minecraft that you would play through, you'd read stuff, and I just watched this dude playing it and I loved it.
Was it his accent that had? No. Honestly,
that draw you to
I hear
him?
a lot of people who listen to podcasts with people who have British accents, and they're like, "I just love listening to his voice."
It's definitely not that. I don't know.
you played the game a lot though, right? And you understood what he was doing, and you like were I don't know.
Well,
were
it's
you,
like
inspired by
it's
it
an
in some way?
RPG. Like so in Minecraft, you play Minecraft, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever played it?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, well, there's multiple ways to play Minecraft. There's survival mode,
Yeah.
or there's creative mode. What these kids started doing, like this is a while ago, maybe like 6 years ago, they started building maps inside, but creating games
Yeah, like
inside.
custom games.
Yeah, custom
Yeah.
games, but like RPGs, and they would make like Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring,
Yeah.
like
No,
or
that's fun. That's
they would
cool.
make. What was the one? My favorite one was it was what was the Tom Hanks movie? Castaway.
Oh.
So they made a Castaway version RPG, and he had to go find Wilson. It just I don't know. I
think
really
that's
liked it.
distinguishable, though. I think that's like a different type of enjoying Twitch streaming as opposed to like a Twitch streaming culture.
People just shooting each other.
Yeah, I think it's different than someone
and
like
just donating money to each, like
Yeah.
getting, followers. Like it's just like a different thing.
That I
Yeah.
don't get.
Yeah. I enjoy streaming as well, mostly for
Awesome games done quick.
Yeah, for awesome games done quick, speedrunning, and I watch some RTS players, like some Warcraft 3 people, and I think it's really fun because you like learn cool things about the game and like little. I don't know. It's like a fun community. But
I enjoy occasionally watching speedruns and stuff. What I don't care for is the personalities.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
think,
part of the culture where I'm like, this is weird. It doesn't really connect with me. Like I don't want to watch Ninja play Fortnite, which is like the biggest thing in the world right now.
I think that's different. I think that's people like using it as a substitute for watching television or some form of entertainment. That's not really just like enjoying the game. It's they want to have like an immersive experience, or they connect, or they relate to the streamer.
They like the host.
Yeah, they like the host, and as we all know, the host really makes the show, unless he's tyrannical, in which case he breaks the show.
And then it's okay. We're rebuilding you, okay?
We're building the Minecraft style
Tyrannosaurus
technology.
Rex.
Okay, so the last thing we want to talk about. Actually, we could talk about two more things, but second to last. Castlevania coming out on the OS. JJ, you want to take that first?
Yeah, just a quick thing. It's so Konami originally, like, there wasn't any plans for another console Castlevania, but they announced today that it was good.
There still isn't.
There still isn't.
Are you talking Brink?
I just had to throw
Hey,
that
what
out there.
games have you been
OS.
playing? No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. No, they announced they're like new Castlevania game, and everyone's super excited until they opened it up and found out what it was. It's a Castlevania mobile game, and it's a multiplayer game. So they're giving fans a new Castlevania, but it's not a Castlevania that anybody's really interested in.
And
So
it's also a pachinko machine.
So it's
Club Med.
basically
Yeah.
it's basically a game that someone who was just working on at Konami and they acquired the rights to it, or maybe no one was working on it from Konami, and then they just slapped Castlevania on it. And
that's what it sounds like. They said you can use like the back catalog of characters from their previous games, but this is weird to me because Castlevania, fans of Castlevania still have a lot of goodwill and hope towards the series. So I don't know why you would waste that by putting a mobile game out.
But why are Castlevania fans, and correct me if I'm wrong, are these stupid? Because Konami basically just said they're going to never make games again because it's not profitable and they make gambling machines.
Is that what this is? You think?
No, but what I'm saying is Konami has like come out and basically said video games aren't profitable and they make most of their money on gambling machines that they make in Japan, like pachinko machines. So that's like why they've canceled every game, like they're all of their games divisions. So I'm interested in why they would decide to make a new game, because they said they basically weren't going to do that.
Right, but if video games aren't profitable, wouldn't it make more sense for them to sell these properties to somebody who would want them?
It would, but I don't think
them.
Konami's been making is gone beyond even Capcom in baffling decisions. So
because they still own Metal Gear, correct?
They do.
Yeah.
They put out Metal Gear Survive just like a month and a half ago. It's $15 now.
Yeah.
They've also been around since the 70s.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's really sad. So, best of luck to Konami.
Well, Castlevania is a somber series.
A company that supposedly treated all of their employees like prisoners and had like cameras set up inside of the studio to make sure that everybody was working at all times.
And Brank, I don't know, maybe you know if this came out, and I don't know if you ever heard of it, but my question is, did you see the Kickstarted game that was supposedly like in the vein?
Blood. I know exactly.
And it had
Bloodstained.
had the composer of the Castlevania games.
And the creator too.
And the creator, yeah.
It's coming out this year.
Okay,
on Switch and PS4 and Xbox One.
What's it called?
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's a game that you should keep your eyes on.
Okay.
Because it looks pretty cool, and the girl, it's the same composer. I forget what her name is, but
Konami isn't Konami anymore, though, and everybody who keeps getting excited for them making games, look at Metal Gear Survive. So that's about it.
It didn't survive?
Well, you can pick it up for $10 and try it, because it was a $50 game.
It was
2
$15
weeks ago.
just a second ago. Is it 10
well,
now?
whatever. It is dirt cheap.
In that 5 minutes, the price dropped.
So last thing, real quick, we'll talk about the Kingdom Hearts 3 teaser for the Nintendo minigame thingy.
Basically, they put out a new trailer and event this weekend, and it mostly showcased mini games that you will play that are in the style of Game & Watch games. Whatever.
Yeah, it's. I watched the trailer. It's interesting, I guess.
I mean, all that will really matter is how they tie in those mini games to the game. Is this something we're going to have to do to progress? Is this something we're going to have to do to... like something that you don't technically have to do, but you won't get powerful without it. Like,
is it going to be normal mode? If you don't do this, you don't get the final ending. So you have to play all these.
It's probably the gummy ship where you have to do it while.
Oh, that's
waiting.
in there.
Oh my!
I think they confirmed. I want to say that the gummy ship is going to be in the game. I want to say I read that somewhere, but I don't think this is coming out this year anyway. So I thought
it's going to get delayed.
I almost positive they still haven't put a date on it, and we're almost.
You have one more shoe to eat.
I know. I guess I've got all the shits I've been eating all year, but I thought God of War wasn't going to come out, and they announced that. I thought Spider-Man wasn't going to come out, and they announced I thought Detroit Become Human wasn't going to come out. It's announced for May, so Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out. Hopefully,
How do you
good
live with yourself, dude.
I know, man. I'm an idiot.
Shoeless.
I don't have any more shoes. I've been eating them all.
Okay, all right. Well, with that, we're concluding our news segment, and we're going to get to our topic of the night. And so we're going to be talking about our favorite video game soundtracks. And we have a perfect guest for that. We have Hot Scott here to help us with that. But I think first we're going to read some lore from our fans, some fan fiction. Is that right, JJ?
Yeah, hold on. I got to get that email out.
Hot Scott can start it off if you want.
Yeah.
This is
Pull up
from
that Dave and JJ ship.
who's our first person?
Kyle Dissotel.
Yeah, what did he love?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater and anything made by Activision.
I don't know if I agree with the second sentiment. But, Tony Hawk Pro Skater has some fun tracks.
You know what? I was just talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater the other day. Bad Religion was on that.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah.
Bad Religion.
Goldfinger?
Dude,
Lagwagon.
Yeah.
It's like a really punk soundtrack, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Well-
mean, there's some like Rage Against the Machine and
That era.
That's Tony Hawk 2.
and Power Man 5000. And,
Yep.
When Worlds
But
Collide.
yeah,
I talked about this off air though with Donna, and does this count as a soundtrack when it's a curated thing?
I
where
mean, it's not.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure it
in the
does.
way that we were intending to talk about the
Score,
topic.
I think
that
is what we meant,
We probably
but-
should have said original soundtrack.
Well, soundtracks paint a picture.
Yeah, I think,
Like, think about
it's
Wes
fine.
Anderson movies. Like,
Yeah.
it has a mix of like Mark Mothersbaugh, brother, and then it'll have a bunch
Alexander
of, and then
Desplat.
all David Bowie songs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1's a great soundtrack. I don't even know what other iconic soundtracks are within the Activision. I can't think of anything else. But
Call of Duty.
Call of Duties. But yeah.
yeah. I used to serve coffee to the bass player from Bad Religion on like a daily basis.
How did he take it?
He's a triple shot straight.
Hard.
As long as I was pulling it.
Well, since we're name dropping, I definitely did a tour with Bad Religion, so
Was he a religious guy?
I don't remember.
How did he
Nice
take
guy.
it?
As long as you were pulling it, and you took it 3
So
shots.
then you know him then, Jay, I'm assuming.
I don't know him, but
Okay,
I
yeah.
toured with him. Yeah,
In
Yeah.
the biblical sense?
super
you know?
nice guy.
Yeah, his wife was like would come in every day, and then whenever he wasn't out of town, he'd come in.
Yeah.
Super nice dude. Yeah,
Super nice guy.
yeah.
He's okay. I don't know.
Great kisser.
Great kisser.
Oh,
don't know.
Weird.
All right, next one is from Allie Gillis, and she says, I really liked, how do you say this game? You corrected me earlier.
Bastion.
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 Yeah, she really liked the Bastion soundtrack.
That is a great soundtrack.
Yeah, actually, that's on my phone now. I listen to it all the time.
Who did that soundtrack? I know Supergiant's the
it's,
creators of the game, but
Drew Corbin or something like that. Let me just double check because I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I did mad amounts of homework to that soundtrack.
Or Darren Korb. There we go. Yeah.
Corbs?
Darren Korb. That's a great soundtrack because it combines a lot of the proto minimalism that a lot of the Japanese role playing games does, but it also has like some more Eastern, but not quite as far as Asia East influences in the soundtrack. So there's
It's like
a
Born
lot
Identity version of that, I felt like.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but this is what came to me.
Yeah, so it's I think that's like it's like an endlessly listenable soundtrack.
it's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This next one's from Nathan Charlton. Their answer was the original frequency. I don't know what that is.
That was a rhythm-based game.
Yeah.
Came out before, I want to say before Guitar Hero.
I think it's by that company, Harmonix, but I don't actually know a ton
Is this the
about
game where
this.
you like put your hand over the little lights?
I don't know, but as a video game, as a console game, it was a light that would go through space, and you would
It's
move
like
left or right
Yeah,
on
it's
like
a circle,
Okay.
and you move it over, and you got to match with it.
that could be in the
other.
arcades though. The same thing you're
Oh,
speaking
yeah.
about.
Interesting.
We have another name for light that goes through space. It's just the sun.
Space and time, man.
Some rando I've never heard of named Mark Mubarek said, dude, piano collections, Final Fantasy VII, Nobu Umatsu, been listening to it over a decade and it still isn't old. That is a very true statement, Mark.
Good
we love
answer.
It seems like he has a good perspective on years.
You. He does, actually, yeah. A decade, yeah.
Yeah, I actually own all the piano collections for Final Fantasy games. So
Well, thanks
and
for
the regular soundtrack.
Thanks for doing a
so
humble brag real
I
quick,
definitely
man.
agree. I just want to brag about my Final Fantasy soundtrack collection. Ben Kalish, Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5. Flashing lights on 4 was my jam. I'm assuming he's not talking about fruit preserves.
That's my
such
jelly.
Such a fun game. His answer is wrong because Vice City should have been his answer
For Grand Theft Auto.
for Grand Theft Auto.
What were the soundtracks? Did they have lyrics in them, or were they just?
They were all
They're all
curated,
curated
scores.
music,
Or,
yeah.
soundtracks. Yeah, but I think, is he talking about Flashing Lights from like Kanye West?
Hey, that's a great song.
Let me
if he
see.
is.
Ben, were you talking about flashing lights? It's not answering. So,
Yeah, he's not.
He's-
I think
but I'm
he was talking
assuming
about the
he was.
actual-
Yeah.
That's an amazing song.
JJ, what did James say? Sir James.
James Benjamin said Fable. I I liked the game. I never really paid attention to the soundtrack.
Oh man, Danny
It wasn't
Elfman.
bad. Yeah,
Was it
it was good.
It's great. It's so like whimsical.
Wait, Danny Elfman did
I think he did the
first
theme.
Fable?
I think he did the theme.
Theme.
Doesn't sound like Danny Elfman, does it?
Yeah, it totally does. I mean, everything
okay.
sounds like everything he does sounds like him, but
I need to
except for
revisit it.
his terrible Alice in Wonderland movies. But that's as much on him as Tim
Get
Burton
out.
as it is on Tim Burton. So it's like the most phoned in movies of all time.
Dude, those movies are.
But yeah, Fable's got a great soundtrack. I think I own the second one, and it's super fun. It fits Fable's atmosphere so well.
I'll have to listen to it when I
Yeah,
play
me
it
too.
again.
I can't remember it anymore.
It's whimsical.
Whimsical.
Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Elfman. Huh?
How about Renee Lavoie?
Lavoie.
Lavoie. Actually, I hijacked saying this one because I wanted to talk about this
I know.
specific
This is a great one.
thing.
I want to talk about it too, to be honest.
All right, Dave, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You already started.
Well, you guys got to tell us what we're talking about.
We're talking about Skyrim.
Yeah.
The most metal soundtrack ever.
I think Skyrim is one of the. I love the soundtrack. I also think it is one of the weaker Elder Scrolls soundtracks.
Really, that
I don't
opening
know.
theme to me,
But the
I've
opening
heard
theme,
so many people.
The opening theme is the same in every Elder
Dude,
Scrolls.
but
It's
But
not
more
about
powerful.
that though with that game. It's about when you're running around the snow
Yeah.
and you're afraid there's a freaking bear gonna eat you.
Right.
And then the best, saddest music comes on.
See, that's
even the shouting is in key. It's just
But
amazing.
the thing is that all Elder Scrolls games have that same functioning soundtrack. That's the way that Jeremy Soule works. So it's like pick any one of them. They're all going to have that very subtle, very ambient, sometimes melodic, sometimes eerie, sometimes whimsical, sometimes creepy, fading in and out. It's like that's his style.
Yeah.
I think Oblivion's is better.
Really?
I was playing Oblivion the other day, and I think that the atmosphere of Oblivion from the music with the flutes that constantly like happen, like the da 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 da, is just I just think it's a better score personally. I think the Skyrim soundtrack is amazing. Like I
love the shouting choir.
yeah, the double
Yeah.
key.
I personally love the memes and the GIFs and like YouTube videos that have come from that. There's this one in particular where this old grandma is holding a Great Dane, and they all start the same thing where it's like he's what they call Dragonborn Dovahkiin, and then they do this like huge like bit where someone like gets like knocked off a ladder or whatever, but this woman gets like launched off screen by this gigantic dog as the guy says Fustro Dot. Dude, it is like the funniest thing
I also
ever.
think that with Skyrim's version of the theme with the choirs again, I think it's awesome. But I think since Pirates of the Caribbean essentially ripped off that melody, because Elder Scrolls games have been using it forever and it's older than Pirates of the Caribbean, I feel like it's like they realized it by Elder Scrolls 5 and were like, oh, well, let's just do a Pirates of the Caribbean version of this. And it's like very bombastic as opposed to like...
Sorry about interrupting, but I thought Oblivion had a more similar sound to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think
so too.
they do too. Morrowind's is the more like music box one. But yeah, I think those are interesting scores too, because outside of Morrowind, which does has much more memorable melodies, and I'm not talking about the opening game theme that everyone knows from those games. I'm talking about the in-game music. Like it's not particularly. It's more atmospheric driven than it is melodically driven, so it's not like this quite the same. But Morrowind has more of actual like in-game melodies that are kind of thematic in a sense, which are fun because they're revisited in Elder Scrolls Online.
I'll have to listen because the older I've become, the more I'm starting to understand, like musically, like in the stuff that I create, like the appreciation for those subtle things that you don't really listen to, but they're just creating such a feeling, emotion.
And they set the mood of where you're at, like
atmosphere.
the atmosphere. Yeah,
It's interesting. It's funny too. Jeremy Soule, who's done all those soundtracks, one of his earlier soundtracks is for a Square game called Secret of Evermore, and it's interesting because it's definitely his style, but it's also him trying to make like a Japanese RPG style, like Final Fantasy score, and the combination is fantastic. It is a fantastic soundtrack. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to talk about the other people who've also mentioned Skyrim. Philip Wunderlich also mentioned Skyrim and the Halo franchise. A few people talked about Halo, so I'll revisit Halo in a second. And then Tyler Dean mentioned the Elder Scrolls Oblivion soundtrack. So we've already talked about that a little bit as well. So thank you guys for that. Why don't we... Oh, actually, there's a few Halos here, so let's do a Halo roundup. Carrington Cheney, Halo, bro. Halo. Nothing like some Breaking Benjamin to get you... to get you pumped to shoot some aliens. Who else said Halo?
That was one.
I think that's the only person.
Philip also mentioned
and
Halo.
Carrington.
That was one track though. That's just that one part. They didn't even really do the vocals. It's just the background music.
Yeah, the Halo theme. That's another.
The
really
Halos
good,
they're great
iconic
soundtracks.
one.
Yeah,
and anytime,
really
especially towards the end of all the Halo campaigns, where they do like the bongo drum version, where it's like
Yeah.
and you're like rolling in a warthog or something. You're like,
They
I'm
do a
amped on
good
this.
job of making you feel the urgency of getting out of the.
Yeah, I think those are all Martin O'Donnell or Marty
Marty
O'Donnell.
up
Same
to
guy.
3,
Yeah.
right?
Well, if you think about
I think he did Reach also.
Okay.
Yeah. If you think about what's interesting about Halo is the instrumentation that or the actual instruments they use, you don't ever really know what they're using. You don't know if it's a string or what it is. It's just
Except
so...
for Steve Vai's guitar solo, man. That's the one thing,
I literally blocked that out of my memory.
Really? Oh, that's such an awesome riff, though.
No, I mean, it's fine, but I like how it's Halo and it's supposed to feel like alien and different.
Yeah.
But in the soundtrack, this music sounds like metallic and shiny or something. It's really weird. It's not like there's not like a lot of like organic tonalness to it. You don't feel like a string section. It's there, but they do something weird to it. In the EQing to make it sound a little different. I think
I'm mostly familiar with Halo 3's soundtrack and the piano like overture stuff. Dun, dun, dun. And then just like all like the sweeping piano stuff, like that's super rad. I don't know a ton about the other soundtracks, so I can't really comment.
I mean,
on
it's
them.
a collection of themes. It's like.
Right. But the instrumentation or like the tone specifically, because like whenever I think of Halo, I always think of just like how clear and like piercing that piano melody is. So like
there's no velocity, right? They don't play with velocity, meaning there's no like subtlety like to the notes they play. It's just like all at 100
like
all the time.
Yeah,
it's like here's the melody, here's the not
mm-hmm.
melody.
Yeah, totally.
From last week, we got Alexis, please be a Gentile.
Yeah.
She is coming back with, it's okay, I want to take this bad boy.
Take it.
I came here to say Tony Hawk Pro Skater, THPS, Final Fantasy VII, and Skyrim. But since those are already said, Pokemon always had great inspiring music too. Also the Toxic Caves track from Sonic Spinball, which was really, really good.
I don't know that one.
It's a pretty good track, but...
Pokemon, though, that's an interesting one because we all kind of grew up with that.
Nope. Definitely not me. I was born in the 70s, boys.
Yeah, I am. I am familiar with Pokemon soundtracks, obviously, because I was 11 when they came out. I would never have put them on the same category as like the Final Fantasy games I was playing at the same time.
I think she was just like, she saw those already, so she didn't want to just copy other people's.
Let's not assume someone's motives here.
Well, she literally said that. I came here to say these and said somebody already said them. So
yeah, I can never, like whenever I hear Pokemon, I always just think of the show's main theme. I can't place except for like
except for what's the creepy town? Lavender Town?
Lavender, yeah. What's the theme from that? Do you... I
can like hear it in my head, but I couldn't sing it.
I just know the stuff from Smash Bros. When you're like fighting on top of the buildings, but I think that's the thing that Dave was thinking about.
Oh,
that's actually Zelda.
That's Zelda. But I know what you're thinking. It's just the whole in my head thing.
Yeah.
In your head.
Do you want to take one? Well, Dr. Donna, you got a chance to check one of these out?
Yeah.
Kelsey?
Do you have the chance to check one of these out?
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Kelsey. Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I heard that's great.
Nice choice.
I played a little bit of it, enjoyed it for sure.
It's like a farming simulator, right?
It's a farming and dating simulator.
Okay. It's the best of both worlds.
Isn't it on the Switch?
It is on the Switch. That's actually what I played on.
Yeah, that's what I went on too.
I'm going to take this one. Brian Salgado, harkening back to my childhood, and also a conversation we had earlier about Castlevania. Old school Castlevania, which coincidentally is the last Castlevania I ever played. 1988, which is I still can hear those songs in my head.
They were great music.
Nice.
I'm trying to remember if Castlevania has the same composer as Mega Man 2 as well.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on Mega Man 2.
Mega Man has
Not
some of
Mega
the
Man
best.
2, but Mega Man as well.
Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 have some of the best Mega Man soundtracks.
Dude.
I'm more
Mega
of an
Man is-
X-Men myself.
Cut Man, get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
Guts Man.
The opening theme for 3.
That's an
one's
amazing
so great,
song.
yeah.
That one's super good.
Oh man,
All synths.
But that's something to point out is that Castlevania has a female composer. It's just interesting because I can think of a handful of really great female video game composers that I don't know. It just seems like I don't really know.
yeah. I'm glad that female composers were able to find a space in video games because I feel like in film,
In Japan,
it's still
Yeah.
just primarily like male dominated. So it's kind of cool, you know, like hey, they can do this and they're really really good. Let them have a chance. Let them have a chance.
Well, I think it's great that they're actually like it's not like oh this is good for like this is an amazing these are amazing soundtracks we're talking about so iconic like legendary.
Yeah. Davey, who's next?
All right, Elizabeth Staller. Why does Crash Bandicoot bring a smile to my face? But wait, SS Tricky?
Dude, honestly,
I'm not following this.
Snowboarding games always had really cool soundtracks.
1080.
The
like
next.
Cool Borders.
They
Cool
Bands?
Borders.
Cool
Mostly
Borders.
bands, though, right?
What is it?
Weren't they mostly bands?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Tony
they are.
Hawk.
It's like Tony
yeah,
Hawk, yeah.
Cool Borders is great because it had. I just remember unlocking the alien and then doing like 8,000 flips.
To Smash
Yeah.
Mouth?
Yeah,
Yes.
like the one, like the downhill thing in Cool Borders where it's like
It has the ramp at the end.
at the ramp at
bottom.
the end, and yeah, you just have
Yes.
to do like one heavy trick.
It's tricky.
All right. Far out.
So let's see, Tom Riggs, no, Rob McCallum, Mario 3D World, and I'm not gonna read Sean White snowboarding.
You just did.
Sorry, Brandon Montgomery. And we were talking about snowboarding soundtracks. He said Shaun White snowboarding. Cut you off. Sorry.
Boom.
Rob McCallum,
Roasted.
though, said what you were about to say.
I don't want to get cut off again. So
Rob McCallum responded last week, so I want to at least shout out. Thanks, man, again for doing this twice. Mario 3D World and Skies of Arcadia. Both
Skies
those
of
games.
Arcadia is great. Mario 3D World has one of the more unique Mario soundtracks in that it doesn't have. There's like a difference to it. I don't know. It's kind of like it also kind of lifts a melody from the Lunar games. Probably not intentional, but the world map for Lunar is pretty much the same. So
I wish that was a Switch. I wish they put that like on Switch or something so I could play
Yeah.
it again. I haven't played in a long time.
Let's just read a few of these and then comment on the ones that we want to because it's getting late in the show.
Okay, who's taking Tom Riggs?
Tom Riggs says any Final Fantasy game. I think we can all agree on that.
Well, that's too many choices,
talked
so
about that.
Tom Riggs.
all
would
of
be
them.
great.
I already went on about my Final Fantasy soundtrack collection.
You love 13 too.
Humble brag.
All the J-pop.
Matt Yabuki, Medal of Honor. I'm assuming the first one from like the PC era days. I haven't played that game in 15 years, but
Yeah, Nestor.
I can't recall it.
Nestor Blanco. NASCAR Thunder 2004.
The whole quote.
I'm not even going to read that. This is a family
This
show.
would make our parents
Look,
proud.
I'm
Read the quote.
you put it on the guy who
Read the quote.
who is not on the show all the time. It says NASCAR Thunder 2004. Let me finish it. Frick, I'm old. Hey guys, I just want to say I've been on my best behavior today.
True, yeah. An inspired
You want
performance.
bad Scott, okay?
I'm hot bad Scott. Snot Scott.
Who's doing Lance Bagstad?
Lance Bag says the soundtrack of Crazy Taxi from Sega Dreamcast. I never.
Offspring. That's
Dude,
everybody
Offspring.
knows
Yeah,
that's
seriously.
Offspring.
That's a great, awesome song.
And we mentioned Tyler Dean because he talked about Elder Scrolls. So the final one is Amanda Nicole with Kingdom Hearts.
Sinful
it's
and
amazing.
Clean, man. or whatever
Kingdom Hearts
that
is
song.
interesting because it also has a lot of really terrible parts of the soundtrack, which is basically all of the Disney rehashes and all that kind of stuff are usually pretty awful, but the original music is great.
Yeah, Yoko Shimomura, right?
Yeah.
She does such great work. So, and those themes, like not the themes, like the main theme for each of they're just amazing. I can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 3's to be finished.
Yeah.
So real quick, maybe let's just share our favorite game soundtracks, and maybe not talk too long about it, but just kind of like give us the high and low and what you should know. I'm just kidding. But just
highs, all of them.
Brank, why don't you tell us about your favorite game soundtrack of all time?
I guess since nobody said it, I'll do Mega Man 3. That opening theme. It's just amazing.
That is awesome.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but right now that's what I can't wait to hear when I get in the car.
Nice.
You're asking me an impossible question.
Okay.
Because as a person who makes music and does audio for a living and grew up in the 80s playing Nintendo, like I got a Super Nintendo in 1987 when I was 7 years old, and my life was changed forever.
For the worst.
I literally still sing. Okay, you know what? It's because of this one game, Mario 2, The Desert World.
Ooh.
I hear that song in my head at least once a week, still to this day.
That's awesome.
Not counting all the other great ones from original Mario to Zelda to, I mean, we named a bunch of games tonight, but I would say video games in general musically has shaped me personally, and I'm sure everybody at this table and people probably listening as well, but it's different. It's a different way to get into music than being into a band. It's the long road of music, which I appreciate.
And you associate, I associate the times that I'm playing those games and like the periods of my life when I'm playing those games. Like if I listen to a game soundtrack, like this is like super weird and random for me, but I always associate Skyrim with like a really difficult time in my life. I was going through law school at the time, and so like I think of the Skyrim music as like
hard for the Nords as well.
And I like place my time in graduate studies like in the Nords like narrative, and that's like really dumb sounding, but like I just think of like those periods in my life. So
it is dumb sounding.
Yeah. Just hearing it makes it sound like a total idiot. So yeah.
Well, it's on record. No, that's the laws,
Sworn to know.
It is.
Real quick off topic, I wish they had more actors in that game.
More actors?
Which voice actors? Yeah, you can hear.
Yeah,
dude.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like I love his voice, but it's like Christ.
Yeah, it's you forget that Elder Scrolls Oblivion had like Patrick Stewart in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's the Emperor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think. I mean, you're just talking about the regular random
The
dudes.
dude's like, hey,
Yeah,
like,
hey.
your voice is that guy's voice, and it's the last 40 dudes I've talked to.
If they would have just hired like 20 more voice actors, or even less, maybe 10 even.
I would have done it for free.
Well, it felt like all the Jarls had the same exact voice.
Jarl Boar.
Malgruff.
Except for the one Jarl, Scott Stapp.
Jarl say hot Scott Stapp.
Jesus was a rock star.
JJ, what's your favorite soundtrack of all time?
All right, so the first soundtrack I ever bought was Uncharted, but my favorite is Halo because it takes me back. Like you hear the Halo music and you instantly like you're on Blood Gulch, you're on Sidewinder, you're in Hang 'em High playing with your buddies, and that always like makes, I don't know, it just takes me back to a better time. Like when we were playing LAN parties in high school, like I always
Blood
think about
Gulch,
that.
where men were born.
Where men were born, yeah. And it was just that was always a good time for me. So I hear that music and it makes me feel nostalgic, and I kind of like that.
We've talked about a lot of my favorite soundtracks so far. I am surprised that no one mentioned any of the classic Donkey Kong games, the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong games.
Dude, I was gonna.
I think I'm gonna do two answers. I think Donkey Kong Country 2, and then also Gradius 3 for the Super Nintendo, which is like, which is so freaking amazing. It's like everything you think of when you think of like space, arpeggiated synthesizers, and just like craziness. If you guys haven't listened to the soundtrack of that game, it's like super cool, and it will make you want to like just explore space. It is so rad and fight aliens.
Yeah, I feel the same way as Hot Scott. This is a pretty impossible question for me. I am also a musician, and my like interest in why I became one had more to do with video game music. again, even like when I was in school studying music, and people would be like, "Oh, are you like you want to do films or something?" I'm like, "No, I don't like film music. I like video game music," and it's like a whole different. It's just like a very different. It's so different. It's got, but yeah. So, I mean, nostalgia. I mean, the first video game soundtracks that I really latched onto is going to be Final Fantasy IV. I own like 4 copies of it in all of its reincarnations and remasterings. Chrono Trigger would be another one.
Yeah, that was
the Donkey Kong games that
Yeah.
we talked about, Zelda and all those things. Mass Effect 1, which we talked about already, but I mean, I like again, like these are soundtracks. Pretty much all the Nobuo Uematsu soundtracks who did the old Final Fantasies, and pretty much everything he touches is gold in my opinion. And those are things that never leave my mind when I'm creating something. And even when I'm writing something like a song that's obviously completely different than a soundtrack piece, I always think of the soundscapes and the emotions and the ambience that video game music elicits and the imagination it elicits, and that's what I try and go for when I'm creating as well. So, yeah.
There's real quick. There's just a lot of we didn't even mention recent stuff, but they're like even the Celeste soundtrack, Undertale soundtrack. There's Lost Odyssey. There's been a lot of good recent stuff, and we do focus a lot on the past on the show.
Well, that's why I say that's what's great. Like some of these old guys are still doing stuff. Nobuo Uematsu, for example, Lost Odyssey is recent. Terra Battle, even, which is a mobile game, but has great original music for it. Yoko Shimomura, who's been doing games since Legend of Mana, Parasite Eve. There's a game that terrified the hell out of me when I was a kid. And it's interesting too with a lot of these people is that they have very unique styles where like I can hear the way Yoko Shimomura does strings and melodies, and it sounds like her in every game, whether it's Legend of Mana, Kingdom Hearts, Radiant Historia, etc. Same with even the guy Hamatsu that did the Final Fantasy 13 games and these other side RPGs. Like it's a very unique style. It's just such a great like limitless pool of interesting ideas and creativity and different ways to approach melody versus like evocative background rhythms and things like that. So
well, it's if you think about it, especially with like the biggest games nowadays are like more open world. I'm not talking about shooters, obviously, but you know, unless it's a shooter open world, then I'm okay. But for the most part, it's freedom to do whatever you want musically, as long as it aids in the experience, and that's why I'm drawn to it. I actually scored a game. It's a Steam game, but at least I did a game before.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's called Ethereum, Etirum. It's sort of like a, it's like this space.
It's like Gradius, isn't it? Like it's side-scrolling?
No, it's not side-scrolling.
Okay.
It's first person. It's kind of like Wing Commander.
Oh, okay.
So it's the music's very reminiscent of Wing Commander 2, not as well, not number 2. I don't know if there was a 2, but yeah, I mean, I used a lot of those things. My friend and I, my writing partner and I, wrote that together. But I wish I'd know what I do now about things when I wrote that, which was, I mean, we did this 4 years ago now, but I mean, just being able to do whatever you want with music in a game is just the greatest thing. And I think that's like what we're talking about earlier when you're saying, scoring, people who score movies that come in and do games, they kind of don't understand that openness sometimes, because it's almost like a documentary, a game, so.
When they're brought on for the specific reason and for their talent and portfolio,
right.
They're like, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm here, I should do it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too, it's just obviously like we talked about earlier, it's different. Like a film composer is trying to essentially tell you how to feel, or he's just doing what the director told him, essentially, depending on...
Well, they're creating mood around the characters, whereas in video games, you're creating mood around the experience.
Yeah,
right.
And the environment, definitely. And there's also a lot more room, especially in like a long game or a role-playing game. There's room to play a lot more, whereas, like in like a serious movie, or even like, I don't know, any just like whatever film soundtrack, you have to create a consistent mood to an extent. Whereas in like an old like RPG, it's like you can take the same theme and you can have like 5 different crazy different versions of it because the game is a longer narrative experience that goes through a different set of emotions, whereas a movie has to be concerned with portraying a tone for an hour to 3 hours or so. A game can have anywhere from like 10 to 60 hours to like play with themes as well.
There are some film composers that are capable of doing that.
Definitely.
Like John Williams. I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah.
A lot of those old composers who did, I think, those video games were looking at Star Wars and we're like, dude, I need a good theme. Okay, Zelda, Super Mario Brothers. You know the theme, but then they pepper in all this other stuff that doesn't really matter. But you still always like those. That Dave accidentally sang Zelda today. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's so ingrained in your subconscious. You know, so you having those important little like hooks is almost like a character.
Yeah.
The song is that song of Link, you know, or Zelda or whatever. So. I think
Zelda's
it's
the boy.
Zelda's the boy, right? Aren't they the same person? I heard they're the same person.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would make sense.
Well, that was cool, guys. That was interesting. I think we could probably wrap up the show at this point. But before we do, I just want to touch on a few house-sweeping items.
You're doing great.
Thank you. This is huge for me. Rate and review the show. Hit us up on social media and write us an email.
You're losing them.
I know. We really love to hear from you guys, and we really appreciate the feedback that we've been getting, and also the comments that we read on the show. So please keep that up. We really look forward to seeing those. Next week we're going to be posting an interview that Josh or JJ.
It's up now.
Okay,
Oh, hey.
it's up now. All right, so JJ's interview with Johan min Nordhagen.
Nordhagen.
Just like that.
Of Dimbulb Games, and they made Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. So we're looking forward to that, JJ. So that'll be sweet.
It's a good time.
And we want to thank Hot Scott for making a trip down to see us and hooking us up with the gear and just helping us out. And it's been really great having you on the show. Any closing remarks, guys? Anything you guys want to say?
I was gonna say thanks for having me.
Nah, let's cut at the right there. I'll just cut there.
Cool.
Amen.
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 Oh, yeah.
That to us people that can feel things, it hurts.